Hello, this is Kingdom Lum Small Town Underground with a special report. It's taken me quite a while to get to this point where I can release this, but here it is. This is what you're about to see is the unedited footage that we had recorded in groups on January 8th, 2024, that we started at Liberty Plaza with just a bunch of just fellow citizens, people that were completely unorganized other than just getting a flyer and talking through messages and groups about coming down on the first day of the Georgia legislative session and participating in the movement to discuss paper ballots with legislators. So I can assure you this is not some funded organization or any kind of group other than Voter Georgia and Paper Please that put this on and kind of organized it. But the patrons that were there were just nothing more than people like me who decided to come down and to be a part of it. Once we got there, they had a press conference. A lot of good people came out and spoke at Liberty Plaza. And we decided to take 3 laps around the Capitol, and then we went into the Capitol in groups, and we went to different floors, and none of these legislators were necessarily targeted in any way. There we had lists of people and questions to ask, and so we set off to do it. It was pretty amazing, the people that we ran into and had conversations with, and the great many people that came to this event and more like it. I don't believe that our legislators, I think they were caught a little off guard at what we were doing. At least you can see some of this in the footage. And some were very apt to speak and some didn't want to speak at all. So this was the footage that I got in the group that I was in. And as you'll see, I only titled the legislators and are the people that we spoke to that were working there, because there's so many good people that worked on this, and though because we were unorganized, I wasn't able to get names of everybody and didn't know everybody that was there, and it was just an amazing experience. So I do want to say thank you to all those people that participated. We did get asked if we were funded, for what kind of group was funding us. We ran into a lobbyist, and we had a lot of open conversations. So that's what it's all about: is freedom of speech, being able to go in and have some accountability, talk a little bit on camera, and we want to share that with you. So it was an amazing experience, and I left this footage unedited for transparency. If anybody wants to pick it apart or share it or copy it or take whatever they want, it's free range as far as I'm concerned. My goal was to go down and to make everything as transparent as possible. I thought that if I edited this in any type of way or put my own slant on anything that was going on, that it wouldn't be true to the spirit of the video. So you're free to do as you wish with it. You can support me on patreon.com/smalltownunderground. As always, we're doing more projects, the more that we can do on Small Town Underground YouTube, Rumble, Small Town Underground on X, Telegram, and Kingdom Lum Small Town on Facebook. So you can like, share, subscribe, check us out. We got so many more things planned down the line, and I just appreciate it. Enjoy.
After the absentee ballots, he lost by double. correct?
He didn't lose. They were stolen. And listen, I 100% agree. Machines are part of the problem, which is why I have a handout for you that speaks specifically to how we want to address it. And it's not 100% machines. It's putting transparency in every part of the process. And number one is getting rid of the no excuse absentee ballots for everybody.
I agree with that.
That makes no sense.
I agree.
And if you're going to have a ballot for anybody, disabled, overseas, it should be security paper.
So hang on a minute. But if you want to get rid of the no excuse absentee ballots, but you want to go to a paper ballot.
There's different types of voting, okay? So most people, we want to vote in person, so you show up and you're going to vote in the precinct with a security grade piece of paper that I hand marked, and people from my community help count it, and we live stream the recording of every ballot counted. But secondly, if the people that you are going to allow to use no absentee ballots, you can't be John, Sherry, and Mo that say they just want a ballot mailed to them. We're talking about just the disabled, the elderly, and the people overseas get those kind of ballots. I mean, we know there's more problems to it than just the machines. We have to address it all. We're not coming here.
Well, I agree too, but from what I understood, what y'all want to do, the guys down in Glenn County will get rid of the machines altogether and just do paper ballots.
Yes.
But my question is back again. If the man won on the machine, and the paper ballots is where he lost that, and how in the world is this going to fix it?
He didn't just lose on one aspect. And if you would sit through any demonstrations and discussions,
I've sat through a bunch of them.
No, not with the right people, because we could break it down. It is a multifaceted problem. And one of them is the machines are not transparent. They have problems, been proven by people that are smarter than you, smarter than me, that are experts in the system. I mean, Brad Raffensperger has no idea what he's talking about.
Y'all clear away from the side of this XRP, please.
There's no justification for why we should be asked. The government is standing before the people and saying, trust us, the machines are good. Just trust us. We have no insight whatsoever in machines. And that's the most ridiculous thing. Anybody would stand before me and expect me to say, just trust the government. We're counting.
No, I don't. No, I didn't say trust the government. I just think there's no machine that's not going to be hacked. That's
Amen,
what you
brother.
said. And there's not any. I mean, when you put the stuff on paper ballots with no way to trace,
security grade paper,
and you
get
don't think
rid
that
of all
I can, you
the
don't think I
mail-in
can take a really
ballots.
good printer and make that?
No, because I'm talking about, like a piece of money?
Yes, and there's counterfeit money all the time.
Okay, you think it's a little harder to do than just.
I mean, you going to stand here and be
paper?
sarcastic, or you going to stand here and actually, like, this is the reason you can't get nowhere with
I'm not
anybody.
sarcastic, you just don't
You
like my
are,
points.
no, I love your points. I've agreed with 99% of them. I've sat here and said, yes, I think that the absentee ballots will be for people that's actually sick and stuff.
Okay, good.
I agree with that, with security paper. I agree with everything you're saying,
Great,
except
what?
those paper ballots right there is exactly how you cheat.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. If that's all you got is paper ballots, and you're going to have somebody hand count them,
Yes.
do you think it's going to go fair in Fulton County when they hand count them?
Do you think that what I'm talking, you didn't hear everything I said, and it's on here. When you are counting them, you have a camera feed that is direct and focused over every ballot being counted so that people in the room can see it and people at home can see it. And we're talking about just the counting of the ballots, which have no identification. So I can sit there and I can tally my precinct. Okay, yeah, I agree. You know what? My number came out to the number my precinct reported. Not a black box machine that's reporting my results.
Just scanning through those, scanning them.
No.
So, okay. I've never worked election before, but this is the question that I've got. If you've got 20 people on that thing, how do you separate out?
Oh, there's a process. I'll show you. I mean, I sent you a video.
I'll come
to show
see
you
you
the
then.
process.
Because that's
There's
my
a
thing. I don't know
process.
how you separate out. Jason's splitting a district with Casey or Marvin Hook. You got 3 people that split in one district, but then everybody else is in that district. So how do you separate out those people?
You count, the ballots are, there's a style of hand counting that allows you to count through the ballots with a team. So that you have 4 people that are actually checking each other, and then you've got people that are calling out the votes as they read them, and you've got people tallying.
Have y'all tried this?
Yes, we've
done a
tried
mock?
it.
How long
Yes.
does it take per paper? How long do you think?
Per ballot, well, I know we did a batch, a batch of 50, and we had not been trained. We showed up that day. It was a batch of 50, and it took about 45 minutes, but we counted every race on 50 ballots, and it was the longest ballot that has been. I mean, it's one of the longest
So you're talking
ballots.
about, you said that, so it took you 45 minutes on 50, so that's what I figured is like a minute per ballot, right? So
And that
when
was
you
the
do-
first time. It got faster.
what
Let
do
me
you-
tell you, we got precincts. Most precincts are between 200 to 500 in most counties. Whitfield has a couple, for example, that have I think a 12
You're
or
talking
14
about per precinct?
per precinct. Yes, you counted a precinct. It's much more doable. You've got smaller numbers of ballots, less mistakes, and when you make a mistake, it's easier to go back and fix it. It's quicker. You catch it quicker. I mean,
So you're talking about after 7 o'clock, and you're talking about.
no, but guess what? You don't have to wait until the end of the. You cannot report results. You cannot even tabulate results, but you can tally, mark. You can start counting as the ballots come in. You don't have to wait till 7 o'clock. It's not even law right now. You just can't tabulate the results until 7. So, and the estimates, I believe, in most counties, and specifically we'll talk about Whitfield because I know that the number's better, is absolutely done by midnight, probably done closer to 11. And it depends on how many people you have. And when you have counties where you're struggling to find people, which when you take out all the complexities of the machines, you're going to have a whole lot more people showing up that can help because you're dealing with paper and counting. I mean, everybody knows how
Well,
to do
and that was the other problem that I've said. Like, we can get people now.
Well, like my suggestion there, and it's being done, is you get high school and college students. You can be part of their class. And they can count. It's simple.
Well, yeah, it's simple
And
to
you have
count.
checks.
I'm
You
saying
have
it's a
four
whole lot
people
easier
teams to
for
check.
4 people to get together in one precinct and say, hey, I can't read this check mark, or this is an X and it's supposed to be
I
covered
hear
in.
that a lot.
How do you yeah, what is it called, hanging chads or whatever?
No, that's different. That's a wholly different
Okay.
process.
So, but when you can't read a mark, how do you know if you counted or not?
You have a team. You have to have a Republican
And they all
and a Democrat.
say
They have
the
to agree
intent.
this is how it is. And what I'm hearing from most people that's been around a long time is that there's a percentage that'll be with, but it's a low percentage and it's not going to make it impossible to get through. The few
Well,
that make it
I want
into
to come over
that.
and y'all show me how y'all going to do it.
Absolutely.
And I don't apologize. My thing is, I just don't understand like how big precincts, how in the world they're going to ever do it. Like you take, I don't know, Fulton County, Alpharetta, whatever, where
You
they
know
got.
that they have a ton of precincts. Obviously, Fulton's
Right.
huge. They have a ton of precincts, and yes, they have some that are like 4,000-ish. But again, you come back to you get the high school and college students in the area as volunteers, but you already have like a massive army of people that already pretty much work at Fulton
What's the
County.
rule right now on volunteers? They got still be, they gotta be-
16 and up is
Okay.
all it is.
I didn't know if it had to be 18. That's what I was.
No.
But show me. I want to see how you do it, because that's been the biggest question. Like, how in the crap are you going to separate out everybody?
Absolutely. There's a video, and we can sit down and talk about it whenever.
So who's behind this? Who's the
It's the
people?
people in Georgia. I mean, I
No,
don't-
no.
No, I'm 100%.
No. I mean, who's the
Well, this one's
organization?
Voter Georgia, but it's not just one. It's-
I know, because that's what I was going to say. Because y'all got that one, then I've seen ones.
Georgians For Truth.
Yeah,
We're
Georgians
just,
For Truth.
we're just people from
It's
all
people
over that
have
just
come
group together.
Georgians For Truth is one
But-
that kind of got people.
I understand there's people that come together, but somebody's funded behind it.
Oh my
Nobody.
gosh. No,
Excuse me, sir.
You have
Every
lost
single
it.
one of us took days off
I
of work
sure wish there
vacation.
was some
have
funding.
met
But
nothing.
somebody's.
We're here.
So y'all buying the signs, all that stuff then?
I've paid for everything in my bag right here. I paid to print up. I paid for signs to be printed.
There's nobody
We
that
have- we
is
have
organizing
images.
all. We're here.
VoterGA does have donors, because they're a nonprofit. They have donors. I'm sure people probably give to Georgians For Truth, but most of the people showing up here and speaking out on this are doing what they can with the money in their pocket because they want something done. And I mean,
Sir,
this is for every person in Georgia. This is just being like the audience. Like, why have we overcomplicated our elections with machines that, like, I can't even talk to most of y'all and like you understand all that I have learned in the last 3 years about what these machines do and don't do and the problems with them. Why are we expecting? There's just no justification in my mind. Why? Like, what is the solution that's trying to be solved by having a machine involved in our
Or can
election?
Well, the security paper on the machines is one thing that was done. I thought that was put on
No,
go to.
and
It's
guess
on
what?
the Senate side.
Guess what? Because I understand y'all probably in goodwill tried to pass pass through something that probably got sold to you to make sense. Salesmen, they do that. But the truth is that the Dominion ballot machines, they can take that piece of paper right there and read it. You were told they couldn't. You were told it required a security paper. But guess what? You can turn that feature off. Guess what? That's what they've done in Georgia. In a couple of counties.
Can we show them there what they did?
Spalding County, a piece of notebook paper went through their machine in 2022. Yes.
So I didn't know. Should have read that stuff.
Sir,
Yes.
Can
It's absurd. And once you know, you ain't giving up.
Well, and that's what I work on facts. And all I know is a fact is this was a number, this is a
Well,
number.
here's my problem. is
This
that
one
I
we
feel like
won. This one.
sir,
The
would you be
mainstream
willing to?
media and the leadership in that Gold Dome has painted us to be a bunch of kooks that don't know what we're talking about. That's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you stopping just for a second. You didn't want to, but you ended up stopping to
Thank you.
talk. And that's all it takes in this
Well, because
conversation.
y'all actually been nicer than what the others have been.
Well, can I ask a question? I mean, would you agree that we have problems with the Dominion voting systems in this state?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a computer guy. Listen,
I
if I didn't have,
understand.
I still got to turn the microwave. Because it's
What
not
she's
complicated.
giving you though is a solution, or is there any other solutions that are being actively discussed in our Georgia legislature?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're looking at a lot of different things. I
Can
mean,
you give us some examples, a couple examples?
no, because I'm not on the election committee, so I don't know what all they look at. I just know kind of when they come out.
Okay.
Just like I never agreed, with the scan bar. But you got to also go back during COVID, whenever I took to Facebook and asked for help because they were wanting to send out these and first class mail and all that stuff. Nobody showed up to help me. I asked our party to help me. Nobody showed up to help me. So I was just
And that's
hung
a
out.
problem. That's a problem.
So
What do you need help with?
whenever Rappenberger decided to do the absentee ballots during COVID and all that kind of stuff, we were like saying, hey, you can't don't send those out first class because if somebody forwarded it, it goes to somewhere else. Nobody wouldn't help me.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what do you do? I tried.
Yeah.
But then whenever the whole ballot thing came up, then, like I said, when you look at the facts, this was the number reported from the machines. He's ahead by almost 400,000 votes. Then here comes the ones in. And we know for a fact that the mobile vote units were in different districts. And that's where the district split at. So they didn't have the technology probably in there to separate it out. And I think there was 300 or 500 or something like that. But there's never been, I've never seen anything where there's been enough altogether.
Very
If
true.
you take down
compartmentalized.
ballot and you take my votes out of my district and you look at Trump's or whatever, sometimes they don't add up. I mean, and it's just a few off, maybe less than 50. But, so I mean, that's all I know how to look at is just the facts of what I've seen, what I've done. But in 2018, like I said, before we come to the Tea Party, everybody said, hey, Stacey Abrams has got this pushing for paper ballots. Do not do that. I said, okay, promise I won't. She tried to pass it in there. It didn't work. So, but now we're back to paper ballots. So then you got to be skeptical on the other side of, well, who's really behind it? They were pushing this, then all of a sudden here it is. Who's funding? That's in the dark back there that nobody don't know.
I mean, there's definitely a way to do paper ballots that I don't support.
Yeah.
The way I talk about paper ballots is that there has to be complete transparency. We do everything we can to prevent somebody taking a piece of copy paper, copying off the ballots, and throw them in the
And
election.
I mean, just like the absentee ballots, then you can just go in and vote absentee ballot. I mean, how is that not like a form of paper ballot? Well, that was where the issue
And
was.
that's on my list of issues. It's
Yeah.
no excuse paper ballot. No excuse mail-in ballots.
Yeah, so, like I said, I
you
want to deal in facts. I've heard enough BS. I mean, and I'm in politics. That's the way I'm a see me kind of guy. So,
I agree 100%, and that's what I've spent 3 years doing is digging in because I don't just want to take things that just the flashy headlines passed to me. And once you know, and you're trying to get the message. But like I said,
but also,
we get labeled.
we'll
as,
talk offline one day. But let me tell you a story about December and about some people in D.C. that told me to do one thing and then crossed it up, went on the news and said, oh, they never told me to do none of that. I mean,
I would say this: just listen to your constituents. And
I am,
listen to
and
enough
listen,
of
y'all the
them.
first ones. I swear to God, y'all the first ones.
I've been emailing you.
You know, I will show you. I'll take you upstairs. Let's show you my email
Well, I'll
right
show you
now.
my sent mail, and let's compare.
I don't know where
If you will
you send
take
it
my
to.
card and you email me,
Okay.
I will get you enough information to get you rolling.
Okay. But unless you send it to my house email, and I guess half of them think I'm in DC. So
The house,
I don't.
yeah, I've been
Yes.
sending your house, yeah.
No, well, you can't send it to me because I have no idea.
House, this,
I get 600
Legislature?
something a day, and I promise you, out of 600, 530 of them think I'm in DC. And it's something to do with DC politics. It's got nothing to do with it. So,
all right, well, thank you for talking to us.
well, thank you.
Thank you for asking
Thank you,
questions.
sir.
All right,
See.
thank you. See ya. Thanks.
I'm gonna come see you though.
Okay.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Roberta from Whitfield.
Hey, I texted you back this morning.
Thank you.
I couldn't come to that thing.
It's okay. I
Okay.
just, if you're ever in town, I'll contact you when we
Since
get
that ain't my district,
I know.
that's like having two girlfriends. You'll get both of them mad at you.
It's just about how
Yes.
we need a rank choice, which is a real problem that's coming up.
What area is,
most of the-
what area do you represent?
Clayton County.
Clayton County, okay.
It's right by the airport.
Okay.
So perfect
Well,
for you,
thank
girl.
you very
Thank you.
much.
Most of the
for your
reps that
time.
we've talked to today, most of them, and happy first day of session. by the way.
Yes.
Most of the reps that we've talked to, they're kind of ready to move forward,
Okay.
and we get that.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to reverse the clock and go back in time, but in order to move forward, we really have to start talking about these issues. It's not just Georgia.
Yeah.
It's all across the country, right? So we really want to start talking about what it looks like to get rid of the dead people off the voter rolls, to
Yeah.
get rid of Dominion, to get hand count the ballots at the time of the, right there in the precincts. So we're just hoping that we can get your support on that as we move forward in the legislative session.
Absolutely. So
And I love your purple, girl. You got it. Wow.
Yeah, today was Purple Day for maternal health. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, absolutely.
Hang on. How are you? We were wondering if Representative Fleming, you just left, did he?
Sure did.
How about Jordan Ridley or Scoggin?
No, I'm sorry, they're all out, but you have information you'd like to?
They're all out? Okay. Yes, I do, and, would they be willing to make like a follow-up phone call or email that I could leave?
Oh, yes, okay, I've seen this,
Okay.
Yeah, sure. You wanna leave your name and number?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, on here.
Okay. Alright.
Do you know when they may be back?
Tomorrow,
Oh.
yes. Barry's gonna be in a court case, I think, first thing in the morning. Hey, Kelly,
Oh,
let me
that's
call
right.
you
There's
right
a big
back.
court case in the morning, wasn't it? Totenberg? Yeah.
Okay, sure, I'll put that with it.
Something about elections.
Any of them that-
Now, who do you want, Barry?
Yes. That'd be one. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I know who it was. Stacy.
I'm behind you, Stacy.
Y'all, I'm stepping in here just a minute with her.
Okay. Should we, you got somebody to get it?
We own the place. I mean,
Yeah.
so
We pay the electricity.
it's not like we're breaking and entering.
Nobody here. Maybe I just leave some of these on their desk.
That'll work.
Hey. Hello. I'm in a meeting at the moment. Can we hand you this? Thank you. Thank you. On the floor. Gosh, had a little infant on the floor. They're like
Set a
6 people in
flyer
the
in their
office.
seat.
Yeah.
You want to set a flyer in their seat? They wouldn't let you in.
We got a meeting.
Did you put one over here? I put one in there.
Oh, this is go. Okay, so there's one in here. Yeah. Where?
Did they not put it on the seat?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, they can't sit down and,
Yeah.
warm their rear end.
That's right.
Do you write one for for one of the legislators?
I'm sorry?
Do you work for one of the legislators?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Oh.
Just on the advocacy side of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Advocacy for what?
Just lobbying.
Lobbying for what?
Healthcare, education.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay.
There's
Hello. We're here from Citizens of Georgia here to ask you all to help secure our elections. Would you be willing to talk to us?
Let me finish with him.
Sure.
Okay.
That'd be
I
great.
will.
Okay.
Thank
all right.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Awesome.
There's two. Pass that one in each of their seats. Hold on.
Should have brought a checkbook and just pretend to be writing.
No, we are anxious to talk to you. I'm Beth McCure.
Why me?
We're wanting to speak with a lot of the reps, and
Okay.
you actually are in your office
Oh,
doing
okay.
work,
All right.
and we appreciate that.
Okay, all right. Let me see what we're looking at here.
We're here about our elections.
Unplugged Georgia. Okay, hold on. Here, let me read this thing.
Go right ahead, sir.
So this is the way, when I first started voting in 1976, this is what we did.
And yes, and it was a little more transparent than a black box, huh?
233. Okay, I'm listening.
Well, we actually just have a question. Do you think that the 2020 election was stolen?
No,
No?
no. No, I don't. I think there were some problems with it, but stolen is, I've been a lawman for 51 years. When you accuse somebody of stealing, that's a pretty big deal. I looked at a lot of stuff. Do I think there were some irregularities? Yeah, I do. But stolen it may be too much for a reach for me, if I can say that.
Would you?
I'm just being honest.
Oh, I want you to be honest.
I'm just being honest.
And we'll be honest back.
That's
I
fair.
appreciate that.
That's fair.
Would you be willing in the future if we sent you information specifically from David Cross and Kevin Monkla of the evidence that they have found in Georgia?
I'll be glad to read it.
Okay,
I will
awesome.
read it.
I'll put that on there. That we will forward that to you.
I'll read it.
Because there is certainly, I have an IT background, I worked in data for over 20 years, and what we have seen pouring through the evidence of our election it is terrible. But the Secretary of State
did y'all
doesn't
think?
want you to know.
Remember the machines that we had before?
I don't want any machine.
Before we went to, when you
Debo.
turned
The lever one,
the little lever one, and then you pulled it back and secured your votes and everything like that. What y'all don't like them
No,
either?
the question I have, one of the questions I wanted to have is what is the problem we're trying to solve by having any machine involved in any part of me coming in and casting my vote and it being counted? What is the problem we're solving with machines?
This is fun to me because I learned. And I'm a rookie legislator. I'm in my second term, so I don't know everything. But I've won 12 elections, so I'm pretty.
You must be doing good.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Through all the people some of the time, some of the people all the time, I guess. But no, I try to do my homework. The thing is, this thing that we do now, we go in. Then they have us a sheet of paper. Then we have to go in with another machine. What does it do?
It reads the
QR code.
That's how the vote's cast. It's
Yes.
not what you do on that computer.
Right. Exactly.
It's what that thing reads, and then they give you a little
QR code,
What-
and you
yeah,
can't
QR code.
verify it. We
Why
can't, because we can't, well, like most QR codes, you could put your phone on it and read it. It doesn't,
Who can verify it?
The machine program.
the
that you
IT,
ask.
the programmer.
Proprietary.
Why is there a program translating my vote?
Right.
What is the
And-
purpose of that?
And so our request is actually that it's hand counted, even if it's the paper coming out, that clearly says if it's hand counted versus relying on it going through a scanner
Right.
and being
Let
manipulated.
me ask another question. Do y'all think how you vote is not known by somebody else?
Immediately it's known by somebody else now because it's on the internet.
Right answer.
Yeah, immediately is, and that's not okay
That's
either.
scary, that's scary to me.
It's very scary.
There is no, what do they call it?
Transparency.
Well, transparency, but there's no
Proper
solid.
chain of command or, like,
Yeah,
there's nowhere to go to find
No,
that.
Confidential.
guys and gals,
Can I
mean,
ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
About transparency, the Dominion voting systems is proprietary software.
Yep.
Meaning that we don't understand even how they work. Should we be running an election system through proprietary software that nobody knows how it even works?
Excellent point. And I don't know enough about Dominion. I know what I've read.
And it's not even owned by
which is
Dominion.
probably not
anymore.
enough, but
I just want to write this. The Halderman report is some information that would.
it ain't the Haldeman and the Nixon thing, is it?
No. He was actually he was hired to look at the Dominion machine, and he gives in his report how it is
I
vulnerable.
can look that up.
Yes, you can look it up.
Online.
And so I just wanted to write that down for you. Oh, that's my
Yeah,
favorite
that's
pen
okay.
now.
Okay, what about these bills, 122, 117, 226, and those are Senate bills. Harvin's bill and Mr. Burns' bill.
So there is a plethora of problems in our elections, and one of the biggest concerns that's a red flag to most people involved in this is number one, the top bill here, unsealing paper ballots, is how hard our Secretary of State is fighting and preventing citizens from being able to have the ballots pulled out of seal and counted and inspected and audited. He's blocked that. He's threatened counties all over the state when citizens want that. So that bill resolves that and saying that they're public record and that that ballots can be unsealed upon request, and they have to be handled by the right people.
Dual control and the proper chain of custody. Yeah.
But if I'm handicapped, then that's an exception.
To the
You
machine,
can pull yours out and look at theirs, but yours you can't.
No, I don't know about that. I don't think anybody can.
I think all of them are sealed right now, per Garland, Favorito.
The second one, chain of custody, signing and sending off procedures. I'll be honest with you, that's important to happen, but we already have laws on the books that are totally being violated every day. We need to have extreme fines so that people, and hold people accountable, because we got a problem holding people accountable. Because you go sit in those state election board meetings every now and then, you'll hear the most unbelievable things you ever heard, and our state election board goes, dismiss.
That's
Violating election law left and right. Legislators need to be in there watching those meetings.
If they record them?
Yes, they're online
and they're streamed and
our
recorded.
state election board meetings. The next one, 226, all ballots serialized on security paper. So we are here saying we believe, keep it simple, stupid, have us hand mark, hand count our paper ballots, but we don't believe I should be able to walk in with a piece of copy paper for my ballot. They need to be security paper like money is, so it's very difficult.
Because our ballot is worth more than money.
All right, let me ask you something. That's gonna cost money to get that kind of paper.
It'll cost
Guess
less
how
than
much money we're
Dominion.
spending on Dominion.
Yeah.
And I want to interject
question.
right there.
Yeah.
He may not know that Dominion is not currently up to date. It doesn't have all of the
No,
updates
it failed
that
most
it's
of its
supposed to have.
updates.
And each time we update, it costs money. And so Rafi's reason right now for not updating is money. Well, how much have we spent on these corrupt machines that we paid China? They came from China.
Not
That's a
only
problem.
that, but the county, it rolls back to each county. 159 counties now are responsible for the maintenance costs,
Yeah,
which is
they're
taxpayer
machines,
money.
And so we're
I do know a little bit about that.
5 terms behind.
And then the last one is also very important. It ties very much into how the machines are being used and the evidence that's coming out of there are fraudulent ballots being cast. And it's honestly identity theft. And there are people that are very smart people that have analyzed our voter rolls. They know people's identity is being stolen.
Felons and
Invalid
veterans.
people we have, the report True the Vote just came out. There's 400,000 people on our voter rolls that are illegal.
In Georgia.
In Georgia.
Yes.
Alone.
And Rafi didn't dispute that. He got his calculator out and he said, yeah, that sounds about right. He knows it.
That's half me voter, basically.
Yeah. We would love your support, Mr. Vance. We have been up here numerous times and speaking and digging into our counties.
Honored to have y'all.
Thank
All right,
you.
let me ask another thing. Election boards. Y'all are for election boards or not?
Are you talking county or state?
County.
What would
Yes,
be,
I am
I
for
wish they
election
were
boards
elected
because-
and not selected.
Right, elected.
Elected and not selected.
Yeah,
But
they're
they are,
selected.
but they are our first defense. Our county should
Yeah,
be
yeah,
our first
yeah.
defense. Our elections should be run by our
One of
counties.
the counties I represent, they've just asked to go to election boards from the probate court, judge doing it.
Oh, I see.
We
what
have
you're
an
saying.
election board in my
yes,
county.
I'm in favor
And we
of
have an
it.
election
I'm in
board in
favor
my
of
county,
election
too.
board.
But they want to say Republicans get to pick so many, Democrats get to pick so many. I don't like things done on that basis.
No.
Personally, but that's what their county commission passed, so I've got to do the legislation up here for it.
It was
But that's just me.
in Cherokee this past year. We just kind of went through that. It used to be that the Republican Party would nominate 2 Republicans and the Dems would get 2, and then they would appoint the chair. There was a lawsuit that said that that's unconstitutional. So
Why?
they've given that
Why was it unconstitutional?
because it was being appointed by people that aren't elected. Because it was being done by the party. In my opinion, it wasn't the right thing because at least the people that were included had some form
Well, here,
of
I
effect.
think, and down there, I think is, again, I don't like things done on the basis of where you got an R or a D or you're black or white or orange
Right.
or yellow, Jew or
Yeah.
Gentile. We've
Absolutely.
hung our coats on the wrong hook when we
Yes.
start doing that.
We just
way.
need the best person for the job.
The best person for the job. That's, thank you. Best person for the job. Then there ought to be a way of going about doing that, just like you apply for a job somewhere, you apply and you look at person, interview them, and first one thing or another, then you go about your business, you get the best person for the job.
After that lawsuit, the commissioners then got the authority to appoint our Board of Elections now. And at the time, they had the ability to put on 4 Republicans if they wanted to. Our commissioners are all Republican in
see.
Cherokee. Then it was begged, well, then how about you just mirror our percentage, get 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat, because 75% of our county votes red. They still ended up opting 2 for 2. I have no problem with them being appointed by elected officials if our elections were real and we knew that our elected officials actually had to answer.
There you go.
So it's kind of a
Good way of working back
circle.
around.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I say, let me educate myself.
Yes, please.
I will read Mr. Haldeman's report. I actually had one of those in the Nixon days, so kind
Okay.
of caught me off guard here. But I will read that, and you're gonna send me something.
I will send you something that was by David Cross and Kevin
All
Monkla.
right,
They
let me
are
give-
Georgians.
Let me give you an email address.
Okay. And they are Georgians who have really dug into this and invested lots of time and money. Here you go.
Go.
On their own, volunteer. Nobody paid them. They've spent their own time and effort trying to find out what's happened in our state. Thank you so much.
Well,
You
thank
don't
y'all.
know how much.
Thank you so much.
We had
Nice to
several
meet you.
representatives who wouldn't even take the flyer from us, and so you don't know
Why not?
what this
I mean,
means. I don't know. It
You
looks
weren't
like
born
it would
knowing
bite.
this stuff.
Thank you,
You know,
sir.
I mean, it's I may disagree with you, but I'll always listen to you and have a healthy discussion. I mean,
That's all we're
That's
asking
all
for.
we're asking.
That's all we're
That's
asking
just-
for. Just
that's
listen.
democracy.
They shut us down all the time. They won't even listen to us.
Well,
And we're not crazy people. We're not part of a group. We are just citizens. That's
well,
it.
but hold a minute. Let me put yourself in my position just a minute. I look out the door. I got somebody with a camera, and I've got
Yeah.
Yeah, I
6 people
understand.
in an office that won't hold much more than that. Well, hell,
Yes.
it didn't hold all y'all. But you see what I'm saying? I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's just folks being human sometimes. And one, they're scared.
Yes.
They're scared.
We're all
you know,
scared,
and
though.
Hell, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Scared every day.
But you aren't scared of me and Stacy.
I'm not scared of any of y'all. I mean, I got 9 guns in this deal. I mean, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thank
I
you
don't
so
know
much.
anything. Thank y'all.
Appreciate
you for your
your
time.
time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yay. A reasonable human. I'm so glad.
Yes. Bye.
Hello, Mr. Cox. How are you?
I'm good.
We're here on behalf of our elections.
Sure.
How do you feel about our elections? Do you think that our elections are transparent and honest?
Do I think they're transparent and honest? I think we need to utilize. We're videoing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think they're in Forsyth County.
we requested that we remove the QR code, and we've also requested that we have hand recounts.
Yes.
But the Board of Elections in Forsyth voted 2-3 against that happening, I believe, last week or the week before. So, but everyone in our delegation was for the checks and balance. So to me, it's more about checks and balances.
So do you think it's a done deal there in Milton then?
Well, I'm in Forsyth.
Forsyth?
Like, what do you mean done deal?
Like, do you think since they voted it down that it won't happen, that it's a done deal, or that?
Well, the Board of Elections already did it and voted 3-2 against it. So
I thought somebody shared that they were going to in Forsyth.
they were going to vote.
And then
I
this.
thought it passed.
No,
I
it
had
didn't
just
pass.
heard it passed.
The independent, which chose no judge, voted against it. So. But anyway,
That's Hank Sullivan's district.
yeah,
Oh, is it?
I represent Hank.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
That's
in
as soon
the
as I saw you, I'm like, I know you.
but in the previous when I was in primary and runoff, I had requested with the Board of Elections for my opponent in primary to do a manual recount at least at precincts, just so
Yes.
we could just so we can compare data.
So we can properly certify,
Just check the
guarantee
balance.
accuracy.
And we lost that one too, 2-3. I mean, it was.
We're desperate. We feel like the state of Georgia is burning down because we don't have a voice. We don't have our vote anymore.
We don't have a check and balance.
And so representatives like you are rare. Thank you for speaking with us. Do you have any suggestion on what can we do next? Because we've been told by the state election board they can't investigate, that they don't have the power to investigate this.
I understand. My personal hope would be that the physical piece of paper that I look at would be what I know that it is.
Right.
So, you know, there's some questions there that I think would be good if we could solve. I would like to see the machines updated. That's something that we've been.
Also, you're aware that the Dominion system is proprietary software, so only the company knows how it works. We don't have any access to how they work, so how do we know that the vote going in is the same vote coming out?
Right. That's why I was saying the sheet of paper would be your actual ballot.
Well, my problem with that, I work in IT and data, and the Halderman report, have you seen it?
Very familiar.
Okay. So part of that is that, and there's actually been people proven in the state that said they saw it with their ballot. So I mark. I don't understand. I personally don't understand what we're trying to solve by me. I want to cast my vote. I'm going to push this on the screen, and this printer's going to print out what I just told you. Why? Why can't I mark it? I don't know what we're trying to solve there. But Halderman studied it. He proved it. There's been citizens in the state that voted and said, I selected, Harry, and when it printed out, it printed Martha. It did not print what I voted on the screen. So I have a concern with any machine in any part of our voting. So that's been proven by people that are smarter than you and I are on voting machines, and they have investigated it and proven it. So that's my concern. I don't understand. We could so simplify our election laws. Average citizens, all the legislators could understand the ins and outs of our election process we're hand marking it on security paper, we're hand counting it. The auditability, the traceability is just so simple.
Well,
why is that not okay?
Well, I'm a believer that.
He is. He's on our side.
My belief is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say
Well, my belief is that our vote is the critical piece for our democracy and our republic. So making sure that we're confident is what's important.
Amen.
And if there's questions and concerns, it's no different than balancing your checkbook. It's like get your statement and you reconcile it.
I said that to Mr. Irwin.
It's just to me, it's just a matter of
reconciling.
it's just a checks and balance because mistakes happen. It's not that the debate over whether it's some strategy to go against. To me, let's just put that aside. Mistakes always can occur. Let's just minimize the mistakes.
Yes.
Just that,
properly certified.
Just maximize what we're doing.
And increase confidence.
Well, that's why
that we have a check and balance. I mean, I think most last poll I saw, it was about 68 to 72% of Americans don't feel confident in their vote. That's a tragedy. I mean, this is America. This is not Venezuela or Mexico. We're supposed to be able to speak, come to our reps, plead with our, and get that. So we really appreciate
Yeah,
you.
well, I'm newly here. I've been here a year, so this.
Well, I'm thankful because
Yeah,
we
I'm
haven't
familiar
found
with
very
you.
many
You're on our
with
side.
your opinion and with your stance.
That will
The
make
only
up
other
listen.
thing I wanted to make sure is on you knew more about the bills than I did. Just on the bottom of this are bills that we are advocating for. And so if you don't mind just representing us on those bills and helping us move it forward.
So I don't know if you're familiar with them at all, but the gist of it is, you know, the top one is a hand-marked paper ballot, which is 100% what we're behind in auditing, proper auditing. Then unsealing ballots, because today the Secretary of State threatens across the state that no, you can't do what we're talking about, check and balance, audit. You know, I don't know if you heard, but like counties were sent letters during 2021 and 2022. If you count the ballots after the race, we're going to charge you a $5,000 fine for every ballot you count.
There are ballots.
If our elections are so wonderful, why would you be working so hard to block that? So that's unsealing the ballots, so the public can say we want to count the ballots, and they're, you know, within controls of the elections offices. The ballots can be brought out and audited, and then chain of custody laws. We're talking about paper ballots on security paper, so that it's not like I can bring in a piece of copy ballot into the system. By the way, Dominion has a feature to supposedly detect and prevent counterfeit paper, but it's turned off across Georgia. So in Spalding County in 2022, they put a piece of notebook paper through and cast a vote on the Dominion machine, which is a problem. And voter rolls are terrible.
they're
So
bloody.
it's a multifaceted problem. And voter rolls being digitally stored and sent to the precincts on election night. I actually was a witness. I've signed an affidavit where I was a poll watcher, and at 6:59 p.m. in our precinct, the poll manager, who did not agree with my stance on the voting machine problems, she's across the room and she's like, "Why is this number going up?" She's looking at her poll pad. "Why is this number going up? This number's going up." She repeats it. Because there's no voters in the room, I got to walk around the room. And I witnessed the number that had went from 6.8 million, which was our, at the time, active registered voters in the state. It went from 6.8 to 7.2 million while we sat there right before polls closed. And it's been highly analyzed and investigated by people that have dug into it. And this is part of, I mean, I don't think it's our counties. I think it's some,
A third party.
China
Hacking
really,
out.
you know, we know China doesn't love our country. We know there's bad actors across the world that are coming after and trying to take our freedom, our liberties, our country from us.
We don't even have the option.
There
anymore.
are, that's dirty voter rolls and voting for some of these people that are not real voters at the end of the election night, plugging that into these digital systems that are connected. I mean, that's how it happens. It's very complex. I don't expect everybody to understand the full facets of it the first time you hear it, but it's 100% possible because I work in data and I work in systems. I know how it works and I know how it's done.
Now, where y'all?
It's a
Where
problem.
y'all from?
We're all
Okay.
from different
Okay, who are your
places.
names?
Cherokee.
Beth, Mercure, Cherokee, and I work with Matt Rowanak.
And you're what part of Cherokee?
I'm in Ball Ground.
You're in Ball Ground.
Yeah, Brad is my rep, so
And
I'm
you're,
Canton.
You're in Canton.
I'm in Holly Springs.
Well, Holly Springs.
But Chattooga County,
Walker
Whitfield
County.
Who's
County.
Chattooga?
Oh, I'm Walker County.
Oh, I'm
Actually,
sorry.
that-
Walker County.
same thing.
Whitfield.
Oh, you're in Whitfield, and you?
A cop.
Oh, you're in what part of Cobb?
Marietta, East Cobber.
East Cobb. Okay.
So,
We're all
but there
over.
was a ton of us out at the square today. I don't know if you saw, and it was, I mean, people from Grady County, Chatham County.
Different places.
We're trying to connect all. There's concerned people all over our state, and we're trying to figure out what to do because we keep hitting the ceiling, and we're supposed to be at the top of the organizational chart,
Sure.
you know.
Well,
And
not
again,
just that, if we don't, in my humble opinion, you can pick any issue, any initiative. But if we can't sit down with our reps and sit down together and talk about what needs to happen so that we, the people, the top of the pyramid, have a confidence and a comfort to be able to approach our reps. That's how this was built. If we can't do that, we don't have a country anymore. It's already lost.
Yeah, well, you should always,
You know,
you should
so-
always feel comfortable talking.
thank you for speaking with us and spending time. I
You are,
appreciate it.
Hank does speak highly of you. So I'm Shannon Weimer. It's very nice
Good
to
to
meet
see
you.
you.
Brent,
Thanks
Holly,
for
coming
Brent
back.
Cox.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Keep pushing your election board. see what we can do.
Well, it's, someone asked me, they go, you upset? I went, no, as long as I saw who voted and I saw how it got counted. So because of that, I mean, I don't have to win to see the counts are right? So they voted, they did the system, and we lost.
Right.
Moved to the next thing.
It was
I
very
mean,
transparent.
but I saw it. I saw
Right.
the
I saw it happen.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. We don't have to win. It's just let's make sure.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be
That's what I
honest.
tell people.
How many people are in your delegation, your county delegation, you know?
And then I represent part of Hall County, which is 9.
Okay, so how many, who's the chair for your delegation?
We don't have a chair in Forsyth.
You don't have a chair, okay. We need a majority of your, because if a majority of the delegation
Well, our whole
votes-
delegation wrote a letter to the
Oh, that's
Republican
right.
Party that went to the Board of Ed. And,
That's right, I
and-
remember that.
And there's 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and an independent. The 2 Republicans were yes, they
That's
were
right.
no,
I do
and the
remember.
independent was no. So that was how it went.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
you can't change it. It's what it is. So, but we all did. We all wrote. We wrote into. Some of us wrote independent letters. Some wrote a letter together. I think there were 3 independent letters and 5 that wrote one letter together. But we all sent our support on having in the presidential primary,
Hello, how are you? We
manual
want like to
and
hand you this,
recount
please.
to
Hi,
see how it
Brad.
worked. Now, we did one for the city council, they did one, a manual. And it lined up great, so we actually did one for a small city council member to do kind of a beta test, thinking that this other would happen, but it didn't win the vote, so you lose vote, you lose vote.
Well, stay on it
Move on.
if you don't mind. 2024, this is the year. I mean, either we go all in and we preserve what's
Oh, I
next, or
know.
we become Venezuela. And I'm not, I mean, I grew up in this country, I was blessed to be born here, but there are so many people
Well,
that
we're-
fled here that are screaming all the writings on the wall, you know, so, but thank you.
But you know what, we're gonna be okay. We got a good group down here, and we're gonna be fine, we're gonna get through this, and 2024 is gonna be a good year.
I pray that y'all,
We're,
pray that y'all continue to listen to us though too, because we're your boots on the ground.
oh, I know.
We're like the battle droids, ready to go into action. As my little guy would say, his Star Wars
I
reference.
completely understand, I get it.
Thank
I get
you,
it, I get
sir.
it. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you so
welcome.
much. Happy
How's it going?
7?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I didn't get to connect with you, but I do want to hand you this. This is, you got one already.
What's up?
Do you got a second?
I do, but I don't know what we need all the cameras and everything for. It seems like a little bit,
Oh,
little
that's-
bit
things
much
cool.
to me.
It's been every single rep that we've talked to, Brad. It's just it's accountability. Come on now, you know how we roll.
We're wondering how you feel about our elections.
Well, I think that elections are free and fair. Having a free and fair election is integral to democracy. So.
And you think that the Georgia elections are fair?
So here's what I think. I think that if you should, first of all, I really want to commend you guys. Obviously, you're here because you care. That's important. I think that there's a right way to do things. I think there's a wrong way to do things. I think having conversations with your state representative and senator, that's what you should do. That's a great thing. Being engaged in the process is a great thing. I think having 8 people stand in a room, that seems a little bit more kind of bullyish to me.
Oh, there were 15 of us earlier.
Oh, that's
so
fine. It'd be
we've
30,
minimized it.
8,
But
30.
how do you feel about the elections? I
No,
really
but-
would love
but-
for you to
but
answer
my-
the question
but-
and not
but-
divert it. Because
But
I
what I want to
appreciate
do,
you,
hold on,
Brad.
same here.
But we need you to answer the question.
But what I want you to do is realize there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things.
Just wanted to answer the question.
So I want you to come in, you can sit down in my office, you're one of my constituents, happy to have a conversation with you. But I'm not gonna sit here and do this camera thing where you all sit and bully people. It's not the right way to do it. Oh, it is. I think it's completely inappropriate.
So when you and I sit down together in your office, I can bring my tripod and set up my camera and we can have a conversation.
It's a private conversation between you and me.
But I don't
Why
want,
does
I
the
want a
election?
public answer.
Why does the question about the
I
election
want
need
a
to be
public
private?
answer from my rep going into the 2024 legislative session as to how you feel about one of the most important aspects of our
I just told you how I
country.
feel about it.
So what
No,
are we
what I
going
hear
to
you say,
do?
what I hear you say is you want me to do exactly what you want.
Well,
That's what I hear you
you're
say.
our representative, and you
Am
are.
I your representative? I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
you are.
What district?
I'm in Cherokee County.
Where at?
I'm in Ball Ground.
Okay, I'm not your state representative.
Well, you're close.
That's fair.
Okay,
You are the delegation chair for Cherokee
yeah,
County, so
that's
you do
correct.
technically represent all of us in Cherokee County.
and our only
You are our
ask,
county voice here at the county.
And you should come here and you should say, hey, look, this is something that I think is important. I'm totally
And
down.
after our
Well,
county
Shannon, let me
delegation
finish, please.
meeting, I asked you if I could get with you for legislation.
And I said, come on, we can talk.
You
about
said
it.
that you had a vacation, you had things that you were going on.
Well, I do have a family and I do have a full-time job.
So I agree, I understand.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, as we shift into 2024, first day of legislative session, happy first day.
Okay.
We are, and last year was the first year I met you. We're not rookies anymore. We understand the process, so we want to engage in the process with you.
You should. And I'm trying to
So
tell you,
that's-
there's a right way to engage in a process and a wrong way to engage in a process. Coming in here, putting cameras in people's faces, and
We've had about
demanding
7 other
answers.
representatives that didn't feel
Wouldn't
threatened
that
at
be
all.
your
Actually
opinion?
sat
Maybe
here
they
for
didn't.
15
Maybe
minutes
they
and talked
didn't.
to us.
And that's their choice. But I'm telling you, for me, if you really want to persuade people and talk to people, you don't put cameras in their faces. You don't have a bunch of people line up and jump on them when they walk out to go to the bathroom. That's
I
not the right
thought
way
that
to
you
do
were
it.
How
coming
do
out
you
to speak
presume
on
that
this.
we get an accountable action from our representatives then, when last year, multiple times it was attempted and tried and we didn't get action?
What are you talking about?
Well, your opinion, we're doing these things the wrong way. She's asking you, how's the right way? Because obviously the way that you said is not working. I mean, I'm sorry. to be
No, it's
blunt,
not getting you the result you want.
Sir, she just asked you a question,
There's
sir.
62,000 people in District 21, 62,000 people. And everybody has different opinions. Y'all are welcome to do yours. Come in and engage in the process. I
Do the
welcome you
same.
to do it. But I can tell you that, again, sticking a camera in my face and bombarding me when I walk out in here
Do
in the
understand
middle of
that.
the room isn't the right way to do it. Schedule an appointment. You could have easily called me. You have my personal phone number. You could pick up the phone and say, Brad, I'll be in town.
Well, let's
Be
schedule
happy
it-
to talk
let's
to you.
schedule it today before I leave.
No, okay, we
Can we
schedule
back up
meetings
just a
today.
minute, because it kind of got off on a very rough foot.
Sure.
Yeah, it did.
I'm sorry about that. It wasn't intended to be that way. I'm sorry that I thought you were coming out to greet us, and that's why I was handing you the flyer. I didn't realize you were leaving.
I have 7 bills I'm working on.
I hear you.
One of them
I
has
hope
to do with generative AI and the effects that they can have on elections, and it's really complicated. So you want to talk about election integrity? Go ahead. Let's have a generative AI advertisement of any state representative doing something that they were never part of. You want to talk about their own election? That's a quick way to throw an election.
I don't
So
know
I'm
what
working
you're
on that.
talking about. You're kind of talking
I'm
about
working on-
something of a
Well, that's
reason
what I'm
that's-
saying. It's such a broad topic. Y'all want to just talk about paper, but I'm talking about
No.
there's
No.
multiple.
We have a broad
Okay,
approach.
well,
Do you want to
I get-
listen or do you want to talk?
I just came out here to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, but
We
you
just-
Okay.
Would you just listen?
We came all the way down here just to
Well,
talk
but
to
you
you
could
for
have
7
scheduled a
minutes.
meeting with me.
But
That's
we're
the
here
appropriate
now.
way to
Would
do
you,
it.
Would you
We're
listen?
here, Brad.
No, but you're
can-
here
we
on
can
your
call
time, and
you.
I've got meetings with legislative council. I've got veterans that need help.
Well, I took
I've
off
got
work.
small businesses
I
that
took
need
off-
help.
I guess-
I've got a lot of other things going on
We're
than
all
just the
really
state ballot,
busy.
and I'm
We're
very
all
happy.
really busy, sir. We're all really busy.
Wow, so that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is more of an inquisition than it is.
Would you
no, that's
just
how I feel.
take 5 minutes and just listen to us, and we'll be done, and we'll leave you alone.
Okay, can you put your camera down?
I prefer
I'm not
to
putting my
get this
camera
on
down.
record.
Hey, Shannon?
Yes.
Anybody that wants to have a meeting, more than willing to do it, just call me and set up, schedule a meeting, right?
Yeah. I can, but we're gonna still bring the camera. Brad, this is no longer about convenience.
You're a
of
public
schedule.
official, and
This
it's a
is
public
about accountability.
problem
Right.
that we have.
It's something that you feel is important,
When we were.
and I'm willing to
It is
listen to you.
important. It's not-
But no,
it's
no,
not
no, no.
what we
There's 2
feel.
things I'll do.
It's
I will listen to everything you have to say. Everything you have to say. But there's one thing I will do and one thing I will not do. I'm not going to sit here and undergo an inquisition.
Okay.
No,
I
we
will
went
not
through
do
an
that.
inquisition.
We've
Okay.
asked everyone
Yes,
the
I
same
am.
questions.
For help.
I've got
We
5
are
people.
coming to
I say
you.
one answer that some lady doesn't like, and then she's
Yeah,
over
we're
here.
all the
Oh.
We're all
That
in
is
the
an
same room
inquisition.
together.
That is an inquisition.
We are coming to you for help.
Then
because
do
we
it
are at an
diplomatically.
impasse.
Do
I don't
it the
have to
right
be-
way.
we don't have
Like,
to
you don't
tell
have to
Press
be
the reset
diplomatic.
button and ask
See, that's
us
the problem.
diplomatically.
Is you don't have to be diplomatic.
The primary
That's
election
what you're
is
telling
March
me.
12th. So you're telling me that before March 12th, we will sit down, come up with a way to write a bill, make it happen, get it passed through both the House and the Senate,
Yeah.
so that come June, the governor will sign it.
And you have to get the buy-in of 91 House state.
Can we
House
stop?
representatives.
Shannon?
And you
Just
have to
stop
get-
for just a second. What I want doesn't even take a new bill. What I want is legal now. I just want a properly certified election, and that means
Then
to
you deserve
guarantee.
that.
And it means that we guarantee the accuracy. We can't just take a tape out of a machine and go, "Oh, that's accurate." I want hand counts of the paper that
Can I ask you a
night.
question then? How do you think a hand count is going to be more accurate? I'm just curious. Inform me.
Because hopefully there's more eyes on the scene, that there's Democrats and Republicans doing the count, that the watchers and the managers are watching the count, and that
no
it's being
AI.
videoed, and that the count has to match the paper tape
And no
coming out of the
AI.
machine.
So can I ask
It's
just
completely
but
transparent.
can I just ask a question? Because like I said, if this is more of a conversation, if you want to come here and just
Absolutely.
converse,
We want
I'm fine with
conversation.
it. I just don't want to walk into an inquisition.
Right.
I
Please
don't think
ask.
that's fair.
That's
Do you
why.
want to see the list of questions that we were going to
I
ask
want-
you? They're
no, I
super
don't.
simple.
I want you to explain to me why you feel like paper ballots are legitimate. And
Because
no,
because
just
the
please let
governor
me
said that
finish.
the
Let me
machines
finish.
are hackable.
Let me finish. I just want you to sit down and explain it to me. And let me digest it and think through what you have to say, because that's communicating a message in a proper way that people can listen to, and I think you can get some support for.
Well, let me ask
but I'm
you
telling you,
this
if
Do you trust the
want,
bank to
Shannon,
balance
please
your
let me
checkbook?
finish. Please let me
Can I write
finish.
down on your paper?
Yeah, please. I'm more than happy to talk with y'all, but I just don't want to walk in and get nailed with 50 questions on a camera. I don't think that's being fair to me, and I don't think y'all are going to get the support that you want doing
we've been
that to
trying
people.
to do that for 3 years.
And I understand.
And we've kind of reached a, you know
What?
what, we are the top of the chain in our government, this constitutional
I'm
republic.
familiar with it.
So after a while of being ignored, not having representatives willing to have this exchange of ideas, we haven't sat around
Have you contacted
and
me in
read
3 years?
tablet. I have actually, yes, I have
Please
emailed.
forward me.
I have
forward
emailed
me.
the assembly.
Now, I'm not talking one of these chain emails that
No,
you
no,
send out
I wrote the
across.
email and I sent it across this.
Forward it back along to me, then I'll put it back in the top of my inbox.
Perfectly, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So, but the point is we are not here just spouting off information we haven't dug into, that we haven't spent hours of our own time. I'm a full-time mother. I have many things going
Yeah.
on, but this is my country. This is the children of my country are going to hear it, and I'm not going to just be told you're crazy. You don't have the answers. We've got it solved. Trust the government. We're counting your votes right. That's why the Secretary of State's telling. That's what Brian Kemp. He's shut down all election legislation for the past 2 years, and you all seem to just fall in line with Daddy. We're tired of it.
See, I think you were doing pretty good till the end. There.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Well,
And so you
yeah,
need to
so-
be able to take honest feelings, because that's how we've been treated.
Well, okay. So you feel like you've been treated badly, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We feel like we haven't been heard. We feel like we're asking.
But what
We've
is
proven through
well,
Spalding
define,
County,
but define
Sheridan County also. we've
define
all
success
done-
for me. And what is success?
Success?
Is getting exactly what you want,
So
right?
success to me is that if you want constituents, people of this country, to feel like their vote is secured,
Of course I do.
then give them the ability to hand count what comes out of the machine. Cherokee County, we did a demonstration that it can work. Spalding
heard-
County did a
I was actually
demonstration.
very supportive of that.
We
What you
send-
don't know is I actually put in a call to voice my support to give you that ability. in
Well, I
Cherokee
appreciate
County.
that. And
you.
say,
I
hey,
do.
now that's on video, and we can put that out there. Brad
thank
Thomas
you.
was in support of our hand count,
But-
and I think that's great.
So now we want to find a way to execute, to make that happen.
But nobody's convinced me, Brenna. Nobody's convinced me that paper ballot counts are in any way more secure than any other form of ballot, and that's what I need to know. The
You're on the
difference.
AI committee? You think AI isn't involved in vote in our elections? Really?
So this is what I'm talking about, inquisition.
No, I'm asking
If I
if
can't
you
talk
link
to
the
you,
two
or if I can't
together.
talk to you and say really,
But link the two
that's
together.
not- if we're gonna be able to bridge something here and get to have a conversation and get both sides, and it's not. I'm on everybody. I'm on.
Brett,
I'm
you're a
not. It's
business
not. There's
owner,
different.
correct?
But Shannon, hold on. Let me finish. But you're gonna have to realize if you're gonna engage in dialogue, it's got to be respectful.
Okay, well,
I'm
I'm trying to play by your rules,
on the
but
planet.
Well,
Do not tell
come
me
in-
how to be a grown-up.
But when you come in
My
here,
question
and
to you,
when you come in
if
here
you
and you're
want-
trying to make an impact, and you're doing it the way you're doing, I'm telling you, it's the antithesis of what you're trying to do.
You're a business owner, correct?
Of course I am.
Okay,
Go
so if
ahead,
you're a
you had-
business owner.
I'm a teen. I'm not. I can't.
Yeah,
even
hold
vote.
on, hon, hold on. I'm sorry. You're a
She's
business
had her
owner.
hand up for a long time, Shannon. I mean, she
You
had,
asked Beth a question, and that was, how do we do this? And I promise I'll let you, if you're a business owner, do you go through before the end of the year to negate your tax burden or offset profits, just like every business owner's ever done? It's what I used to do for a living. I've owned businesses myself. Do you have some way that you look at, like a profit and loss statement, or
P&L.
okay? So why do you read a P&L? You don't just trust what your people tell you in the financial division? Why do you have to see that P&L?
Well, I think it's more about strategic planning.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to see it on paper in order to have the ability to strategically plan, because how else do you know your numbers, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I don't know how this ties to paper
Okay.
ballots.
So
but
how
I'm
do I
interested.
know, as a voter, if my paper ballot says this, and someone with eyes as a human doesn't look at that paper just like you would look at your P&L and confirm it, why am I relying on a machine to give me an answer to something that I am fully, God gave me the full capability to do myself, and we have the ability to check and balance our voting system the same way you check and balance your business prior to the close of the business year? Why
So,
are they different?
I guess my first question is
And I'm sorry.
every day, yeah, could we, I promise you,
Well, answer
whatever
this.
it, I will, but whatever it is, we'll hear you out, okay? My answer to that is every one of those machines prints a ballot, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you can look at that ballot, you hold it in your hand, right?
It's a receipt, actually, isn't it? A receipt.
It's not
the
actual ballot
Well, okay.
constitutionally.
Correct.
So, on that piece of paper ballot, well, not ballot,
Receipt.
receipt. So I'll look into that because that's actually pretty interesting to me. It says exactly who you voted for, right? Can I not audit that?
We should
That's
be
what
able
we
to
want.
count that. That's what I
We
want. I
want
want
to
to
be able
count
to
that
audit
paper route exactly. It's just the QR code that I don't trust.
Yeah.
And so yes, I want a hand count by humans to verify what the machine tape is spitting out exactly.
So it is a
Because the
receipt.
QR code is what actually casts the vote, and I can't read
Right.
that.
It scans that QR code. It doesn't scan what the actual ballot is, like a Scantron, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we can't
So-
verify that that's correct.
And I think that's a legitimate complaint because I'd like to know.
Yeah, that
and,
your
you know,
vote counts.
and quite frankly, Shannon, just so you know, I've thought about that a little bit. You know, and I think my answer was always, well, what if you could take the QR code and walk it over to another machine and scan it? Would that be sufficient?
No.
Would that work?
No,
So
I
if
want
it's a
to. I
software
want
that
to
you're
see
saying,
it.
trust
But-
that
but-
one, not
but-
that one.
And even if we did trust the QR codes, the numbers can still be changed. The machines can still
To be
hacked.
fair, so let's just talk about the process here for a minute, right? Let's just say now what we've done is we've got handwritten paper ballots, however you want them to look. I really don't need to define that. Then we take those hand paper ballots and you and y'all sit and count them. You have a count. Then it goes into a database, right? Still transmitted electronically.
But we still have, at least we have a number that we can verify got transmitted.
So we're also.
Yeah, but I
Like
guess
check and
I guess
balance.
my question then
Well,
is
it goes through the machine and
But
it
this is
spits
too
out
many
the
people
ballot.
talking to me. I'm trying to get somewhere with this. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I am trying to
Oh, I
understand.
am.
Thank you. You're doing great. Thank you so much.
But if you have a paper ballot receipt, right? So the receipt, it's kind of like when I go to the store, right? I get a receipt and I can look through it and say, okay, this is what I bought. I can verify whether I bought it or not. Well, if that receipt says this is how many people voted for Donald Trump, for example, right? And you can go to those receipts and verify to those receipts what the machine count was. Isn't that the same thing?
That's exactly what I'm
They're not
asking.
doing
That's
But
what we
we
That
are.
night,
You
no,
can't
we're
do that
not.
now.
No, they won't
They
let us
take the
do
tape,
it.
they-
But no,
they
you all
should
want.
bet-
See, the question is
That's what we want.
You want to do it. So my question is I guess what we need to look into, is there a process in place for that? Because it seemed like there is.
Yeah.
I thought they called it adjudicating ballots and everything else.
No, that's-
Great. What you got?
In Forsyth County, so our whole delegation,
Yeah.
I'd written the letter to the Board of Elections.
I know I was going to steal it.
And we lost 2-3 because the independent voted against it, which was nothing more than the manual hand recount. And Representative Carter Barrett has a great one. The people should keep the machines honest, and the machines should keep the people honest.
It's a check and
It's
balance.
just a check and balance.
Exactly.
So it's not as much, to my opinion, I'm not interested in let's just go to a piece of paper because that can be a problem. But the physical ballot is the piece of paper, not the code. That's
Right.
the part we've got to figure out. I
Yeah,
think.
it-
Well, I mean, I
No,
think, but
that's
he's,
exactly what I'm saying.
but the
Yeah.
other representatives, I feel strongly, they feel that all of us are fiscally conservative and sound, and of course, we want to balance our budget and balance the election to make sure it's legit, right?
So let's do it.
So-
Let's do it. That's what we want.
But
That's all we want.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's gonna, whatever happens is gonna go through governmental affairs
That's
anyway.
exactly right.
What does that
There's
mean?
it's the process.
Yeah, we will
What
talk
does
to
that
them
mean?
That means
in committee.
whoever carries that bill, it'll go through the government.
And they have a meeting today too, by the way.
It'll go through
Oh, so it'll start off being read,
Wow.
and then after it's read, it'll get assigned to a committee. It'll be read a second time. But that's
It's
just
90%
procedure
of the delegation legislative.
You know what? I'm sorry. I
This
did
is
promise
Julie.
you. Hi,
I'm Julie. I'm
And
part
sorry,
of this
Julie.
Brad, nice to meet you.
C4.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I know each one of all of these people, and they just want truth. We just want truth, and we just want what's right, because I'm going to be 18 this year, and I don't want to know that my vote was not counted, and I want, like, my future to be good and not fighting
Of course you do.
and torture and all this hate. I just want truth.
Amen. Thank you, sweetheart.
Right on.
So I'm sorry if it came off disrespectful.
No, actually, I think it's awesome that you're here. I really do. I wish more people would be engaged. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with how this went down, but I do agree with what you're trying to
Got your
do.
attention.
Don't ever think that that's not what my intentions are. I think I have 2 kids too, which y'all don't know about me. You know, I served 2 deployments in the Gulf. I'm a vet.
You want freedom. We gotta stay
yeah,
free.
well,
And we're scared that this is how they're gonna take our freedom.
And,
They've already taken it. It's our job to resume what happens next,
but
in my opinion.
But I've got 2 kids of my own. I got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old.
I'm pretty lost.
And I'm very concerned that the America I'm handing them is not the America that I got.
It's not already.
And so I see people. I'm really not upset with any of y'all. Like I said, I just don't like having everything in my face all of a sudden.
Catches you off guard.
Yeah,
It caught me off guard
I
too.
really
went,
was trying to just
we're on.
really honest, really just needed to style break,
us a
man.
minute.
You know.
We just came from over there.
But your heart, I know your hearts are in the right place. I know you're fighting for something, and it's the beauty of America, that shining city on the hill. Sorry, I don't want to get into like a stump speech or anything, but I do. I really truly empathize with you. Okay.
We will empathize with us
and that's
help
why
us. That'd be great.
I can tell you, y'all, if you walk in, and I know that you feel like it hasn't been effective, but this is the first time I've had 6 people sit in the room. But I think if you just approach it more of a, hey, look, this is what our concerns are. Let me inform you what the concerns are, and not so where do you stand on this? What is this? Then I think you're going to find most of these people down here really want to talk to you. We're here for you. Like I said,
I would love that. I appreciate that.
Thank
You
you.
finally
Yeah.
did talk to us. He
No,
talked
we
to
know.
us. I ran
No,
into
no.
one of
We
our
just-
representatives
we have to have
at
somebody
the
say they could-
doorway, and he greeted
We
me.
had somebody who
And
won't
as
take
soon
the
as I
phone.
said elections, he literally said, "I don't want to talk about that." And he turned to run away, and we got him to stop, and he had a conversation. But that interaction was exactly what I've experienced over and over.
But have you ever stopped to think maybe it's because nobody wants to be at the end of the Inquisition? Maybe sometimes I'm just telling you, if you really want to affect change, and I know this is the Machiavelli versus the Sun Tzu method, but I really think that if you really want to affect change, do exactly what you're doing, but just come in. You can catch a lot more flies with sugar than you can with vinegar.
Does this happen to you quite often?
I've never had this.
Exactly. So
But-
we're
but-
all
but-
trying
but-
something new, sir.
Yeah,
This is not anything
No,
new.
and that's okay.
got a
Listen,
I'm
but
just
you
trying to
should.
say,
You
this
should.
is-
We get it.
If you guys
should-
think
I
that we
have tried
want
have
to do this,
conversations
No,
with
there's
people
a better-
multiple
there-
times, coming off the chair,
Certainly.
county delegation.
You and I have spent hours on the phone, sometimes not always the most pleasant conversations.
So
but you
I
can't say we haven't talked.
to maybe not schedule an intimate conversation where we can get things done, but we are a month out from the cutoff to qualify to register to run. March 12th is the primary election. We have a country that is burning to the ground.
And they're watching Georgia.
And I
No.
There's a lot of
appreciate-
people,
I don't
a lot of
want you to
country
feel like
watching
we're
Georgia.
attacking.
Well, no, I'm actually
But what
trying to
I
help.
want-
I'm trying to help you get your message out
Oh,
in a
we're
way that,
in-
that
and
might
we're
be
in agreement.
digestible.
Really hoping.
Because when I hear that you have a state representative that just doesn't want to talk about it, it's because if you go in with this approach that, you know, it's either you're this, and if you're not this, then
No,
you're
I said I
that.
want to talk about elections. He said, no, I don't want to talk about that.
It is probably
Refuse
because nobody
something
wants to
and
stand here and have 10 people sitting and spout questions at them. And then if you answer a question wrong, then it's well, you didn't know my, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, what am I even doing here, right?
Yeah, do you mind if I ask Reeves?
Oh, I think we
He
get
looks
it.
like he's been
Real
patiently
quick.
waiting
All
to
right.
say something.
Thank you,
Y'all
Matt.
get done with
Yes.
Representative
Yes.
Thomas
We'll-
and Cox?
we'll let
Are
him
y'all,
off.
are y'all done?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
Somebody tell me when it's 1:25 and,
That's about my
all
cutoff
right.
to have to leave.
And I'm gonna sit down
Oh, okay.
and I wanna hear, I wanna hear everything. Tell me, the House Bill 17, I was familiar with that last year. The Zuckerbucks bill, I was familiar with that one. I talked to Senator Burns on that Senate Bill 221, but tell me the 2024 voting work that you're working on. And somebody said, trust the government. I don't trust the government. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we agree.
And also,
We agree with that.
I'm cognizant, I think Texas does a good job on a lot of stuff. They do elections very different than Georgia, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on centralized versus decentralized. Because Texas, you know, they run it, they decentralize.
I think
So-
that decentralized is exactly what we want. We would like our counties to actually be in charge like they're supposed to be for the Georgia Constitution of our elections. What we want is transparency. We want hand counts the night of elections on video to verify that the calculations are correct. If we still have to have the machines, we want reconciliation of the paper with the tapes of the machines. We'd rather not have the machines. We'd rather have hand marked. We don't, as Stacy pointed out earlier, you know, we're going to the screen and we're marking all this and then making sure that it prints out right on the paper. Why can't we just mark it ourselves? Why are we paying for the expense of Dominion? While we're on that topic, we're not current on the upgrades of the system. We're behind. And Rafi has said he's not going to do the upgrades until after the 2024 election in 2025, and it is costly, and it is costly for our counties. I think that, Roy, you also have some information
It's
about
also
the software.
proprietary software, and Dominion doesn't even own Dominion anymore. It's owned by a hedge fund or some kind of capital. I mean, we don't even know how any of this software works. The company has to come in and do all this anyway. We have no idea of this machinery, what we're even putting things through. You know, how can you run a secure election and not even know the software, the machinery?
Just the simple way to put it is it's massively overcomplicated something that should be super simple. And simplicity also provides transparency and complete audibility, and it's going to restore trust. I mean, even if you don't buy any of the findings that have been found on fraud, evidence of fraud, it's just it is unbelievable the numbers, the amounts of fraud that have been identified. I mean, you know what happened in DeKalb County that flipped a race when the machine was completely miscounted. That was 2022, but if you back up to 2020, you've got Coffee County and Ware County, which is proven that it flipped votes, it didn't count votes. We have errors all in our machine log files that the Secretary of State wants to hide, but we as public have done open records requests and identified. There's errors that are tied to an error found in Tennessee, where because they had an astute poll worker, she realized the machine count number did not match the number she tallied as the people coming in to vote, so they forced a hand recount, realized there's all kinds of errors. An investigation was done by Dominion and the EAC, and they confirmed, yeah, you're right, the machines were not counting a huge percentage of your ballots.
Williamson.
They ditched Dominion because of that, but we can't seem to get that through anybody's understanding of when a machine is counting. Yes, people make mistakes, but there's a method of counting. It was trialed in Cherokee County where you have a 4-person team. That's just one example. You could be smaller or bigger teams, and they're all giving backup. What's the word I'm looking for? They're all double checking, a check and balance of the count right there in real time, and then you've got monitors that are observing. Yes, humans can make errors, but you can catch them that way, and it's so transparent. And while they're counting, you've got a camera that's live streaming, so the public can be at home, and they can say, I voted precinct 1, and yes, I just watched every ballot go by, and my count matches their count. complete trust if you want to go through that. The other concern we have is the ranked choice voting that Brad Raffensperger is trying to push through. It's another layer of complexity that makes no sense why we would do that. So that tries to avoid a runoff. I get it.
And we should be promised one person, one vote, not ranked choice voting.
Has ranked choice, has legislation been dropped to prohibit that? Yeah.
To prohibit it? No.
Somebody's working on that. Stay
Good.
tuned this week. I believe you'll
Okay.
see some legislation in that regard.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
You said that Mr. Burns is on board with everything that you were talking about when you first sat down. You said that you had spoke with Max Burns. Is that
No,
what you said?
Senator Burns, Senator Max Burns.
Senator
This
Max Burns. We just
the
wanted to-
Senate Bill 221 about the voter rolls, drop boxes, election workers, transparency. I talked to him because I had been looking at the House legislation. I talked to him last year about it, and had put some time. I'm one of the few lawyer legislators left down here, and so I had talked to him about that last year. Haven't talked to him in a while.
Well, we just
So,
went and tried to talk to him, and we were told that he can't be bothered.
okay, well, stick with it, because he has worked on the issue, and I think he'd love to hear from you when the time is right.
It sounds
Okay?
like you are very much interested in this topic, that it's important to you.
I'm in Gwinnett County, so.
You know Maribel?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, everybody knows Fulton's got problems.
Right.
And,
But Gwinnett's got its share.
and then DeKalb, as you mentioned, there was a flaw last year that could have changed an election,
Yeah.
which is dangerous. So I want to make sure that stuff like that doesn't start happening in Gwinnett.
And in Gwinnett, well, it is. I mean, in Gwinnett, you had over 37,500 challenges to bloated voter rolls, where Maribel and Kim had found that their
Yep.
property had been sold. They had bought new property in a different state and had registered in a different
Yep.
state. And your elections director just dismissed all of that. So are they? I don't know. Are they still sitting on the rolls?
Well, and that's something that I think, that question about do you centralize or decentralize?
Yes, decentralized.
But it's a tough question, because if you have a county that is ignoring the rules and is letting non-residents vote, how do you correct that? So that's something I'm trying to figure out. But
I would like to
I've
share-
got there are 10,000 apartment units near the Gwinnett Arena. So you have a lot of turnover. Making sure that you've got a current resident voting in your county rather than somebody who lived there years ago is something that is important to me. But where are they doing paper ballots? France last summer. Alabama now, all right.
70% of the United
last
States
summer,
uses paper ballots.
Last summer, France was given as a model. Georgia's got about 11 million people. France has several times that many. I checked with somebody whose husband, is from there and who goes back there, and it works well over there.
Let's
They're
do
a lot
it.
bigger
Do
than
they do
Georgia.
Let's do
the
it.
same amount of time? I mean,
Yeah.
like the same
What they
amount of
do,
days?
they have local police come in. They have qualified, trustworthy citizens. They count the votes, and they go out and do what French people do and have dessert and coffee afterwards. And
celebrate.
it's kind of a national. And they vote on one day.
Well, it's
You know what's happening right now?
Right. Not too long ago. I mean, since I've been voting, the whole 3-week voting.
Sunday
and,
voting.
Well, and look,
Yeah.
Sunday voting, I'm good with that if the whole state does it. I think having selective Sunday voting, I have concerns about that. And then the absentee ballot, it was not too long ago, you had to give a reason for doing absentee ballot, and the change
And that
that
was
went on
okay.
with that.
I think we should go back to that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, particularly if you've got 3 weeks to vote in person.
Yes.
What's the need to have a bunch of ballots floating around out there? But,
Well, that's just screaming for an opportunity at that point. When you have 3 weeks worth and you have 2 weeks through it, you got somebody on the sidelines going, hey, we're a little low on this side.
Right, we gotta add some.
Which it's very interesting, but there is evidence to show. I mean, it is not just are the machines doing something funny? Are they counting?
No,
are
they have
counting
a
the numbers
toolbox.
wrong? I mean, there's now evidence that there is feeds that are reporting the counts from the machines real time on election day. There's multiple findings of this, and so that is alarming. And that doesn't happen when you got hand-marked, hand-counted paper ballots at your precinct.
And I don't know if you're aware, just to have this in your mind, we talked about motor voter is a huge issue. And in Cherokee County, we've had felons that have been reissued unbeknownst to the felons. Somebody is, I don't know if it's third party, if they're hacking in, or somebody's walking into the DDS to get their driver's license, but the felons are being identity stolen, and that is a felony on them again if they're found to be on our voter rolls.
And that screen on the voter process is a little bit too quick. 15-year-olds, I got a lot of teenagers in my district. If you don't watch what you're doing there, they're getting voter like that. It's too easy to click on that. It seems like once you get qualified at the end of the process and you're above age 18, then you want to do voter rather than step 2 or 3 of the.
Or what about the illegals
process.
coming in? We don't know what's happening with them, And then
What have you heard about the screening on that?
I've heard that they're getting, that when they cross the border, they're being given IDs, and that they're being given money and IDs that will work at the DDS. When they come to the DDS, I have been told by Sheriff Reynolds, who's on the DDS board, that when they're illegal, they have to have a file and they have to get approved, whatever. But if they already have a card, then that's not going to scream to anybody that they're an illegal. So I don't personally know that there's a check and balance there. The one other thing I wanted to mention to you is that when we did do canvassing in Cherokee, we found in the Caramel district that over 600 voters that had gone in person and voted, their vote did not show up until December 7th on the voter rolls. The 9th, December 9th. We certified on the 7th, so it was almost like they have the ability to hold back votes, certify, and then post the votes, making it look like those people really voted. So like she says, it's not just the paper, it's not just the absentee, it's even manipulation of the posting on the voter roll. And so, again, having check and balance, we could follow those numbers from the voting polls all the way up to county, all the way up to state, to make sure that there isn't any hanky-panky in the posting of the numbers.
And standing and going into our election board, 150 or so of us, standing there asking them not to certify because we have this, and them saying to our face that they don't answer to us.
We don't have to tell you
We
why
don't
we're
have to tell
certifying.
you why we're certifying.
Right.
I mean, we literally are holding the evidence. It was the coldest day in Georgia. I mean, even my at the time 5-year-old went with us and door knock. I mean, that's hard.
Oh, you're talking about when we canvassed.
When we canvassed, to get this evidence, because that's what we keep being told, there's not evidence, but we can't do anything to get the evidence on record to produce something that's tangible. So
And I noticed you had on there the chain of custody. That was House Bill 17. That's one from last year that I guess it's in the Rules Committee now, so needs some follow-up. But time
Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, look,
Thank you for your time.
keep doing what you're doing. I'm tuned in. I'm listening. I remember last summer when you guys started this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. So keep doing what you're doing.
I'm thankful for you.
But if one thing you remember, Representative Thomas mentioned Governmental Affairs Committee. That's where a lot of the voting legislation has gone through. So keep an eye on that committee. Those members, Alan Powell, Rob Leverett, Representative Thomas, and others. And let me know if I can do anything for you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right.
I
You bet.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's fine. Can you take this for me? Take a look at it, and then just real quick, just to tell you that we have a problem with our voting machines. We don't. Number one, people just don't trust them, and they're not turning out to vote. That's the number one issue. Number two is why can't we just do the simple, transparent, auditable paper ballot, hand marked, hand counted? We'd appreciate your support, sir. Thank you.
Took my hand. That wouldn't have been very safe.
No.
Hello. We were wanting to talk to some of the legislators in this office if we had an opportunity.
They actually stepped out.
are they at a meeting?
Okay. Let me see. Just a minute.
Okay.
They may be.
Yeah, they actually stepped out.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. I was just having my little lunch and dealing with something very important, my grandson.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So who do we have here?
Well, we're all just a conglomerate of people.
Okay. Okay.
So we just wanted to come talk to you about our elections and just ask kind of how do you feel about the way we vote in Georgia? Do you trust how we vote in Georgia?
And I'm not the representative.
Oh,
yes,
That's okay. I love that. I thank you for that. But the reps are gone.
They're at a meeting, correct?
Well, some may have meetings. I have some that have already just left the campus. Actually, 3. Then I have 2 that went to a lunch and learn. Representative Oliver. She is.
I want to talk to you. Come on, talk to me. You need to talk to me.
Come talk. That's right. Come talk to you.
We didn't include you in the party.
You got one? I got 10 minutes.
All right, Casey.
I'm already seen it.
Well, okay. I hand it to you, but let's talk about it. How do you feel about how we vote?
I'm okay with it.
You like machines counting our vote in a black box?
I
You
do.
trust the machine? Why do you trust the machine? Do you have?
So here's what I told Eddie. You run the ballots to the machine. If you count the ballots and they match the
They
machine,
don't count the ballots. That's the problem. And
You
Secretary
read
of
a
State
QR
blocks it
code.
every time we try.
we did. But in 2020 we didn't do a recount. We didn't count the
Have you
ballots.
not watched any? You need to go watch the last state election board meeting. The whole recount is a sham and it's a
Really?
fake. Yes, he did not properly do an audit. All the audit records do not match up. There's proven that there's 17,000 ballot images that are not found to line up with ballots counted in Fulton County. That's just Fulton County.
Sure.
We know that's a problem, but we
Yeah.
also know it.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
need
if
to audit
Fulton
everything.
County don't solve your problems, I don't think. I mean, fixing.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of laws on the books that aren't
Right.
getting followed. So we
Sure.
need to up the ante for when laws are broken.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
But
I just think paper ballots is going backwards.
no, it isn't.
No, it's not
It's our
going back.
elections. You got 100% put our trust. Our trust matters, and people
Yeah,
don't
I
trust our
understand that.
elections.
Yeah, I understand that.
What's the most simple way we can to express the most simple way we can express the most important act we have as a people, as voters in our country, and that is by our ballot. And today in Georgia, it's the worst of the worst because I can't even go mark my ballot. I got to punch on a machine, then it's going to print it out, which Halderman, who's an expert, he's done a 96-page report,
Yeah, I read
is
it.
proven, and there's people across our state that they witnessed it. They were voting. They said, I marked Mary. It printed John.
Right.
That's a problem.
Right.
So that has to go. So we're going to hand mark it. We're going to put it on security paper like money so you can't counterfeit it because I get that's a problem too. Paper can be counterfeited. We don't want that. And then you
Yeah, I mean,
hand
paper,
count it.
because the whole box shows up when you start
Exactly.
paper counting. You know, I mean, that happened
Exactly.
for 100 years in
And you
Georgia.
count it, but you don't. You count it with teams where people are double checking each other. You do it election night on your precinct, so it's small enough numbers get counted, and you live stream it as it's getting counted. So I'm at home. I don't want to be at the precinct, but I can tally
Right.
my precinct 800 votes. I'll sit there and mark 800 votes, see if they match what they reported. If it don't,
Sure.
I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna challenge the election.
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
but-
understand why that's a problem.
Well, I think because what we're talking about is it something that can happen on a small scale and be successful? Yes. Can you count 2 million votes, 3
you don't
million
have to do
votes?
it that way. You counted a precinct. It ain't like that. And
Right.
Fulton
But,
County
well,
is
but our
big.
our precincts aren't that big. It's, I mean, in Dalton, Georgia, it's
But
not
do
an
you know
issue.
how many precincts Fulton has?
I have no
It's
idea.
a ton. There's like 400 precincts in Fulton County.
Yeah.
So I looked at the data. and
I
don't
just see
think
how
there's-
I see how people are lined up in Atlanta to vote.
You know
I
why
can't
they're
imagine.
like that? Because you can only pay for so many machines per precinct.
Right.
Whereas you can hand out all the pieces of paper you want
Right.
in the precinct. So the lines are going short.
Well, no,
enough
but
when
I'm
you
just
get
thinking that
paper
I'm thinking how many people have to be there to make that look. I mean, for
Yeah.
that to take that long, and then you got to have people count. I don't know.
Wouldn't
will
it be
take a lot
worth
of
it though?
work.
If
A
it was,
lot of people.
But-
And
Wouldn't
then
it be
you gotta,
worth it
then
if
you
it
got to
was a
say
secure
that
election?
your intentions are pure. Not everybody's intentions are
But you're
pure.
filming it though. That's the point. I get it.
Yeah,
There's
but you
problems
can't
gotta solve.
see what that vote
No,
is
you
when
can.
you're.
You're gonna have a camera, like it is facing every ballot that
Right.
comes by. There's a
Yeah.
camera on every ballot that comes by. And in Fulton County, you are going to have to build up the people you have, coming in to count.
Sure.
And you could use high schoolers and college students. They do
Right.
it all over. They do it in France. They have
Yeah.
many more votes.
Yeah.
If they
Get
can
that.
do it in France with paper ballots, why it can't be done in America, United States?
Yeah.
And especially right here in Fulton County.
Yeah.
So we know where all that.
Well, I would argue that our education system is not teaching it math like they are in Europe, and that we have. I mean,
Well, you have
as a
double
person
checkers.
that hires people that count on a regular basis and can't even give you change on a $20 bill, like it's
I
rough.
understand, sir, but our election system.
No,
obviously we
I'm
got
not. I'm not
issues.
disputing that.
What I'm saying is
I understand your
we're
intentions,
having
but
a
I'm
hard
saying
time even
I'm
getting these brought up to anybody.
I'm arguing that I just don't think people.
It's
I don't think
tally.
you'll be
You
able to
need
find
add
enough
actually
people that can actually that
understand,
have
but-
the attention span to tally.
But we've got a group of grassroots people with
Sure.
solutions that we're trying to reach out to legislatures, and a lot of these legislators seem to think there's nothing wrong with that the status quo is perfectly fine. We can't get anybody to even sit down and listen to the possibilities. And anything that you say, she's got a possibility.
Sure.
Why can't we have the people get it with our legislatures and sit down and look at a different way that we can secure our elections and make them transparent?
Yes.
That's what we're looking for.
Even if it takes a little longer, it's worth it. You know, to have-
I don't. I'm not saying that your intentions are not pure and that doesn't, that it's not possible. I'm just saying when you magnify that over the entire state, it starts to become it's difficult. And I think people can show up with a box of ballots that are paper, just like they can hack a machine, and they've proven that in the past because people have. That's happened for 100 years in Georgia.
So you agree that the machines can be hacked?
I mean, I think that what you're saying is an issue that you're very concerned about, and I'm saying if that's what you're concerned about, I'm just as concerned that somebody can walk in with a thing of paper ballots.
Which I agree. And
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I think
disagree
both
with
sides
And
got.
somebody could walk
There's
off with
fear
paper
on both
ballots.
sides
I
of the
get it.
issue.
Right.
But there's
And
only
there's
one-
always going to be cheaters, no matter what we do, right?
Right, but there seems to only be
gotta
one
solve
side of
it.
the issue that's trying to fix it and dispute it, right? Everything else keeps getting shut down completely.
Yeah.
It's
So
just-
what on this in the state election boards when y'all requested that information? What did they say? I mean, so my question to you is, did you go to Mary and the local Whitfield County elections?
Mary's not there anymore.
But I know, but yeah, before she left, did you go to Mary and say, Mary, did y'all hand count these? Did you hand count these ballots, and how did it match up with what the scanner?
Oh yeah, they told me they hand counted, and I believe Whitfield County does a good job. I think they counted. Here's the deal. I think Whitfield County did a good job, although what they don't tell you is actually the hand count came up with 40 more votes than the machine count, and Donald Trump had 33 more. And they'll act like that's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But if you
extrapolate
take-
over the state of Georgia, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Brad Raffensperger, who gets all the media
So I'm gonna
coverage,
send
and
that
none
to
of the people that are digging into the data get media coverage to tell
Right.
you what he's up there touting as a perfect audit was not a perfect audit.
Yeah.
And secondly, when
So
they
you
did
fill that
do
out
their,
for the
so
parents.
when they did that recount, they had batches of
Yeah.
50 to 100.
Right.
And they would tally the 50 batch, and they had to put it in a third-party software system and say batch one that had this many for Biden, this many for Trump, and then on and on and on until they got them all counted. And then guess what? Secretary of State tells Whitfield County what their final election results were.
So
Whitfield
I'm gonna
County,
send that to
they
you.
can, and they some
Okay.
did, and I think
Now,
Whitfield will
does
say
the
that
parent
they
need
did
it,
keep
or
their own
does he-
spreadsheet, but most counties didn't.
Yeah.
That's a chain of custody breaking.
Yeah.
And then when you get into to counties like Fulton where people have really, like I didn't have the software or the time to do what some people have done, but some people have taken software and time, many people, and they have compared the images, so that's the scanned ballot as it went through.
Sure.
That's the record of the ballot. They found that there's 40,000 images of an election day. Well, let me back up. 70 counties in Georgia have no pictures of the ballots that went through on election day. So you cannot audit. You cannot say, I can reconcile what you tell me you have paper for versus what the system recorded digitally. The election day.
Well, but
voting.
But is there not a box of paper that went through that machine?
Yeah, but guess what? The problem is you have paper that came out, but you don't have the digital record to line up and say, did what the machine recorded match what the paper says? And then,
Trying to follow that. So, but hold on, let's talk through that just a minute. So, if I have, let's say I have Brad Raffensperger name right here. All right, I run it through the machine. I've got a stack full of paper like this high, right? At the end of the thing, I add all these up. They add all these up, and they add up to 100 votes for Brad Raffensperger, and the machine says 100 votes for Brad
The
Raffensperger.
machine don't say it because there's no record in the machine. That's the problem. Now, you have the paper, so if you have paper, that's a good thing.
Right, I
And
mean,
then
you got the
vote.
paper that tells you how many people voted for Brad Raffensperger.
Right.
So the tally's not on the machine? Sure the tally's on the
They
machine.
deleted it. They deleted the record. That's what goes on a memory card, and that's the problem. 70 counties deleted the digital version.
Yeah, but
of
it's
that
on the
ballot.
records of what you post on your local
Well,
website.
you're talking about an entry. I mean, yeah, you have an entry, but you need to see.
So like so the election results in Whitfield County show Brad Raffensperger got 100 votes. I've got a 100 piece of paper with Brad Raffensperger's name on it. If those two things match up, then what's the difference between this paper and the paper you're saying? Does that make sense to
I get
everybody? You
you.
understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yes, I do hear you, and that's a good step. and
Right.
I agree. But again, when they counted the paper, how did it go? Did they?
Well, I
did
mean,
they
so
keep up with
I
it?
would
Did they
argue that it went pretty good because they caught Rome not uploading however many ballots. You know, the audit caught that Rome, hey Rome, your stuff's not matching at all. What happened? And they were able to backtrack and say, you didn't even upload a whole thing of data.
Mhm. They caught that. That's
Yeah.
true.
So I mean, I guess for me, I would prefer to see us say, from here on out, we're going to hand count this that we have and make sure it matches that.
Okay, and I agree with that. However, I have a slight concern on what we know people have experienced in person.
Right.
They selected Mary at printed J.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem.
And I think there needs to be additional signage that says, make sure your paper says exactly who you're voting, because it asks you, right?
Yeah, I worked in the poll though.
Right.
And listen, we had our elections workers, they did great. They were like, read your ballot, make sure you check it.
They did.
And this is what the people do. Okay. And it's like a 20-person, they did not read that ballot. They don't
Right.
know what it says. And I'm saying, yeah, that's their responsibility, but should we really like, it's really actually kind of hard. It's confusing once you look at, when you look at that printed ballot, it's actually not a ballot, it's a receipt.
Yeah.
But I just think it is the personal responsibility to review it, but they're not doing it, and I just don't think we want to hang our confidence in our elections on what I said. And I know people are not doing. They're not checking them.
I guess what I'm confused about is the QR code that it reads. How do you know that that QR code is putting
Spits through
into
the correct data.
what is
So
on
that to
your
me
paper?
that's a concern.
Yeah.
But I think the solve of that is that the names on the paper, and when you count the box of names,
compare the
it
two
has to
numbers.
match what's in the and if there's not, there's an issue. And I think to me that's how this is a paper ballot. It's
Right.
just not marked by a person. It's
Right.
marked by a computer, which I would say is better than marked by a person, because I don't know if you remember doing Scantrons and the issues that they had in Florida and all those kind of issues that come from hand marking stuff. If you can see who you voted for, it comes down to a personal responsibility to make sure who you vote for is on that paper, and then we count what's here against that, and then that's how you prove it. And then you have what you want. But, you know, if I walk into a bank with a 10 grand in my pocket and I hand 10 grand a deposit to the girl at the window, she turns around and she runs it through the machine. And that's standard practice with everybody's money. If you carry a big wad of cash in the bank, they're running it through a machine. You don't want her hand counting your money.
Well, yeah.
The bank don't want her hand counting your money, and the bank it's more important to the bank than anything else they do is they don't have cash problems. So they take that money and they put it through the machine. And they come back, and if it don't, and they run it twice. If it don't match, then they break it down and hand count it. And I think that's what needs to happen is we need to make sure that we're counting what's in the box, make sure it's matching the transponder on every election, and we don't have a problem.
But then I don't understand what the point. Why do we even have the machine? I don't
Well,
understand the
we
purpose.
just can't go to paper ballot and do that. Now, why is that machine?
what is
Because
it solving for us?
those machines does not calculate those.
Well,
Don't flip those votes.
right, yeah, I
You
understand
can't
that.
flip
I understand
those
what you're saying, but what I think, I don't think that you can. I think you have to take statistics and you have to do sample sizes, and that's how you know what I'm saying. You're not going to count all 2 million votes, but you can, but you're better off taking a sample size and seeing how it extrapolates over the entire population.
Well,
Because especially so if we're running it through the machine and the election's 60-40, does it make sense to hand
Yes, do you not understand the
like
the problem?
60-40?
Do you not understand
Like, no, I mean,
You
like,
haven't looked at the data, like, to know, like, literally, there's significant problems.
Not to mention the software itself, the Dominion software is proprietary software. We don't even know how it works. We don't know, it's all proprietary. We don't know
And
how
even you
anything
guys
works
see
in
it
these
too.
machines.
Right.
So we don't know what kind of data is being transmitted, what kind of data is being
Wi-Fi,
uploaded and downloaded
Right.
to wherever.
Right.
I'm just saying, we've got nothing. So that's why we're
And
talking
even the
about
guy
hand
said
count.
himself that those machines have
And after all these years, we still have
irregular.
Irregularity.
They're not
Irregularities.
even, they're not even
Even he
updated.
said that.
Yeah.
So if he's saying that about his own stuff,
yeah.
what do you think we gonna think? The people, the voters, we gonna think the same thing.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of those machines to make it very sharp and sweet. We need to get rid of those machines and go back to paper ballots. We did it before and we can do it again.
Yeah, I'd like to let
People
you hear
just
some.
sorry don't want to do their job.
Yeah, well,
We're gonna put it equally
It's hard to
like
find
that,
people
and
who want
that's
to do
the way it
elections
is.
right now. I can freaking assure you that. They don't nobody want to do elections. For sure. They had enough of that. Miss Mary will tell you about killed her. I understand what you're trying to do. I just don't.
We want
But-
I
very
just feel like
elections.
we're going backwards.
Well, the people is what matters, and
Right.
a large majority of people, I've seen the 62%, some say higher, people don't trust our elections. And I
Right.
mean, if people aren't gonna show up to vote, that's a big problem. It should concern everybody.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
The
I think
integrity
talking
of
with
it all.
Casey today, we're talking about one little aspect of what a group of us have been here today talking about
Right.
with the whole election integrity stuff. You know, you got bad voter rolls, you've got, I mean, all kinds of issues. The
Right.
machines are one.
Bad voter rolls will kill you more than anything.
And,
But
you
the
know,
problem is
but,
the feds handcuff us on how we can clean up voter rolls.
but I think what,
That's the issue on the voter roll situation.
You can't, the federal government does not allow you to register felons or register people that are underage or that live out of state. That's not allowed,
Yeah.
and there's 400,000 like that on our rolls right now.
In the state of Georgia.
In the state of Georgia.
400,000 in
the
Georgia
idea
alone.
of,
I don't know.
Oh, yes.
That
Well,
seems
you'd be
heavy.
surprised how many people say they don't know any of this
That seems
information
exactly, and I've
today.
known you a long
Yeah.
time. I mean,
That sounds
but
400,000
but-
big
and
damn
so-
number.
I
don't
will-
it?
I will provide you the information.
Yeah,
It
that's
might,
a bunch.
some of this data might
But
surprise
I
us,
don't.
or-
Yeah, I mean, because I don't
And I feel like
disagree.
you probably haven't looked at it.
Right.
Because, like I said, I've known you a long time, and the past 3 years have been like eye-opening to me and the people that have dug and Kim Brooks and finding all the information that she has, and the people that have actually been working on this for 3 years in different aspects. Like, I'm like, how do you not see it? And you just might not have been exposed to it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And-
Stacy's kept me abreast of it.
But then that, you know,
We
we all
talk
were
on a
the
constant.
same.
I talk to Stacy more than I do my wife.
You just read my emails and won't respond.
Yeah, I
Every
do
once
too
in a while.
respond. I'm a
I'm
pretty
sorry,
good
I have my full
responder.
cup.
I'm the best of the four.
Well,
I get an award.
I won't disagree with that,
But that does shock me about you. It's like how, you know, like why haven't we sat down in Dalton and talked about these issues?
I've
And why
invited-
haven't you been, you
Yeah.
know, oh my gosh, we gotta get to the bottom of
Well,
this.
I mean, I think that our local folks do a pretty good job.
I don't think they have any idea what's
I don't think most of our local
No,
municipalities have any clue what's
Yeah.
really going on, and it's out of their hands, and they're
We
being
got a
told.
200-year-old person
Yep.
on the Dalton voter rolls. I found somebody.
That's correct.
I found a record that has the same first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, and street address, and I was told, oh, they're twins that live together,
With the same name?
same exact name,
That's crazy.
and they're like in their 40s.
There's irre-
No,
Did
I
they
don't-
both vote or did one of
They
them?
voted both in
They both voted?
November 2020 and the runoff.
Really?
And then also,
And
they
I'm
sent
gonna
me
do
to
some
4
more
different
research to
locations before they
verify
would
what
even
I'm
let me vote.
What's that now?
I went to 4 different precincts.
Because they moved you.
No,
Emily, good to see you.
they didn't move me. They just didn't want me to vote Republican.
Really?
They wanted me to vote Democrat because
Yeah.
I'm in a Democrat district.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
I'm a Republican, and I had to ask for a Republican ballot
Yeah,
to even vote.
yeah. And they're like, no, we don't even
We
have
don't-
those
what-
here.
what did
Those
she-
ain't even here.
'Cause
We don't
they
even
probably
have
was
the-
saying,
Hold on,
what-
let me get the dust
Be honest
off
with
this thing and give it to you.
No, we're gonna keep it straight. To be honest with you, they
Yeah.
probably looked at me and said, "She black. What's she doing coming here getting a Republican
Yeah,
ballot?
yeah, I know.
For she's supposed to be Democrat, but I'm not Democrat."
Yeah.
And I had to tell them 3-4 times.
So
that.
here's I've told Stacey this a couple
So
times
all that
too.
kind of stuff
When I
is called
first
voter
when I
fraud.
first came down to the Capitol in 2017, when I first started serving, every Democrat in this building was screaming paper ballots, paper ballots.
As we've heard
We
that
read
several
what we read
times
this
today.
morning.
And it-
And it's not a
and that-
partisan issue.
Yeah, it isn't, but it is. And what drove you here was partisanship.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
I mean, a lot of what people got involved in
But let
this
me ask
issue.
a question.
Partisanship got people involved in the issue.
Because I believe that the election, the integrity of our elections is far beyond 2016. What if some of those people were actually right?
Yeah.
And we weren't listening. You know, this is beyond party lines.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I'm just saying, when I came down here in 17, there was one party that was screaming for paper ballots. So it makes me a bit hesitant.
Well, we have a different approach.
Yeah, we
I
have
don't
a
think
much
paper
different
No,
ballots
I don't
is
disagree.
the
I
way
understand,
plain and
yeah.
simple
Yeah.
is the answer. It's got to be security paper. It's got to be live stream on count.
Right.
And you got to increase the fines for people that break the laws. And
Yeah, no, I don't-
I don't know if I said this to you already, but we said it earlier. Y'all need to go sit in some state election board meetings. It'll blow your mind. The reports they get that they so-called investigate, that they dismiss. Like, we have no recourse, because you know what happens in the courts. You
Yeah.
get these judges that, you
Yeah,
know, they're
that ain't
bought
on
off
your
or
side.
whatever.
They ain't on your side.
So you think, okay, we'll go through the process, state election board, they've got investigators. Oh, that's a sham.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a mess.
disgusting.
It needs to be looked at, and the people need to be involved. We need to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think could be done? I mean, to
Well, I don't know. I was looking at what
Bring
you, I
the-
got. I was looking at some of your stuff that Eddie gave me earlier.
So,
I mean, I think the hand marked paper ballots is probably not is a non-starter. I don't think it's got you have the. I just don't think you have the.
but we gotta have people that get it and who are bold enough to speak it and not be falling in line with
well, we
leadership.
can't be complacent with what we got.
Yeah, no.
And
I understand what you're saying.
does
I'm
it
just,
bother
I'm just
that-
trying to be honest with you.
Does it bother you that other people, the voters, the people are, even coming up with these questions because they're upset about it,
Never forget where you come from, because you
Yeah.
just might have to go back to it.
Yeah.
And I believe we're gonna have to go back to it for us to have a fair election. We're gonna have to go back to paper ballot. And we're gonna have
Well,
to get these folks in
the
there
last
and count these
representatives right
ballots.
about artificial intelligence is only going to get worse with
Yeah,
electronics.
that's
So
probably
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Cause if folk can hack your bank account, they can hack that machine too,
Yeah.
to flip those votes. They can do that.
Yeah.
And Dominguez already said that the thing had some flaws in it. So we need to take that to heed and go back to paper ballot.
What other states are doing paper ballots?
Alabama.
Right. And we need,
Tennessee.
Georgia need to go back
Florida's
to
doing paper ballots.
and the entire state of Tennessee just got rid of Dominion voting systems
Yeah, we need
altogether.
to get
I
rid of
understand we're
Just because they
under.
got rid of them, are they going to paper ballots?
I
No, they
don't-
did go to a different machine.
They just
They
went to
a
that
different
heart machine, didn't
but
they?
still.
The
I
heart
mean,
machine prints the names.
But we're being
first.
told in this state we're under a contractual obligation no matter what, and that nothing's going to change that, no matter how much evidence or proof or
Yeah.
anything.
So Florida does handwritten paper ballots. That blows my mind.
And Florida's a big state.
Oh,
so-
yeah, it's huge.
So
Yeah, big
if
state.
Florida can do it, Georgia can do it also. So we
That's
need to get
interesting.
Ratzenberger, y'all
I'd talk to somebody
legislators,
in
y'all
Florida.
senators, y'all representatives, all of y'all need to get Ratzenberger some kind of way, get him in a meeting, talk to him and say, baby, we gotta go back to that because we don't have fair election. You know we don't have fair election. And the folks, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Y'all know the election was stolen. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
So, and the people know that, so we're not crazy, we're sick of it, we're tired of it, and we want fair election. We want to be confident that when we go to poll and vote, our vote counts.
Yeah.
We want, that's what we want. That's all the people want. They want fair election. They want to know if they voted
I
for
don't
Trump, they voted for Trump.
Certainly,
they want to know
I'm
if they
willing
voted
to
for
say
Biden,
that.
they voted for
I
Biden.
don't care
we
if
want
the
to know
Democrat
that.
wins or Republicans.
Yeah.
We want transparency. We
Right.
care
we
less
wanna know
about.
that. We want to know
They
that.
win, they win. That's the way it goes.
But there's no way to verify any transparency in what we have now.
The way it
Zero.
looks to me, it doesn't matter who wins the next election. You're going to have one group of people say they don't trust
Right.
the elections, and then you're going to have the other group of people
So why not
that
make
say
it
they don't
transparent
trust
though?
it. So
Yeah, you
you're
can show- have a
in
way
a
of showing
no.
them that, hey,
I mean, you got all your.
Yeah. Sure.
So
Why not
it's-
make easier, more simple ways that nobody can argue the results?
Yeah, the methods, the chaos that you have to go through to audit and trace everything in the machines. Like, I worked in our recent election in 2022,
Right.
and I got put in the absentee ballot. Let me tell you something, it's insane to me that you've got all these safeguards and protections in the precinct, and they've got all these watchers and sign-offs and get that ballot out of the machine and put it in this thing, and they get it at the county office. But before they leave, they also take that memory card out of that machine, and that memory card goes with the ballots. And when he gets to the central office, they take that memory card and they hand it to the IT guy, and he just walks off in the back room from everybody and goes and does whatever he wants to do in the back room when he loads our results up. And that, there you go. There's Whitfield County's results. You know, nobody knows what was on the card. Nobody knows what he did with the card between here and there. Nobody knows what happened between the computer here and the computer it got loaded to. I mean, it's,
And then when you go back to ask, you don't get any answers.
Yeah.
Well, we can't show you that. Oh, well, we lost that. Oh, well, we can't, you know.
Right.
This is insane.
Now, what county? So, where county are you in?
I'm in Walker County.
Walker County.
Fulton County for me. And you know about Fulton.
I know you with me.
I ain't gonna say no more about Fulton.
God bless you.
God bless me.
bless you.
God bless me.
it's Cobb, right?
Cobb.
Whitfield, I think.
Yeah.
But ranked choice voting, more complexity.
Lord.
You can't audit. You can't check that.
Yeah, I'm not right. That's a damn nightmare.
But you are so nice, Mr. Casey,
Yeah.
just to listen to us.
Yeah.
We thank you for listening to us.
Yeah.
'Cause
See, I
that's
actually got to go to Mr. Powell's committee, but I'll ask him where he is on that.
Well, what committee?
Regulated
You
industry.
talking about
different
ranked
committee.
choice?
Oh, okay.
No,
Because I heard there's a bill being
They
introduced
ain't no
very
ranked
soon.
choice vote. We can't. I mean, no, that's a disaster.
It is a disaster.
That's a damn
right?
disaster. That's,
Oh, you
that's a
ain't lying.
Ponzi scheme.
Do it.
I'm not with you on the machines, but I agree with you on ranked choice. That's a disaster.
Right. See?
That's just. I mean,
That's
you
just
like
another-
you already had another layer.
That's just another
damn,
step
Yeah.
further into the
Yeah,
abyss.
audit that. Audit those
Yeah,
rates.
yeah, good luck with that. That's a disaster.
Good luck to you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your
Appreciate you,
time.
sir.
I'll keep you posted on some of this.
Just stop and
Right.
talk
All right,
to us.
hang in there. Have a groovy day.
Have a groovy day. With Representative Jackson.
Hi.
And I'm not going to be recorded for
You're not gonna be
anything,
recorded?
but I came out. I
Okay.
heard your conversation.
Here I stand, these dirty hands, and I've searched beyond the morning for your soul. Here you are, below my feet, and your blood dissolved into a mound of grass. And I cannot stop the pain, seeing that you're lying here without a breath. Pick you up, an old brown coat, and I pick a shovel up to take you home inside the